right. There it is. Let's go. We can go get started now since it's time to play, right? It's time to play. Yeah, time to play. So, like I like to do, this is just for my own personal flair. I like this part. So, anyway, a little quick recap, or last time, if you will, so everyone knows what's going on. So, Session 2, as I like to call it, Viva la Revolution, or however you might say that. So, all great tales have humble beginnings, and this one is no different. The five strangers who bonded over some coffee found themselves traveling together on the way toward the nearby town of Brandt. You see, this town was built up around an iron mine that had no longer been shipping anything back to town, and its owner, Lord Saxton, wanted to know why. This task was offered to and accepted by these five individuals that had impressed the local guards. Later that day, they arrived in the town of Brandt and couldn't help but notice something was off. No one could quite point out what it was, but things just felt wrong. This led them to seek out some information from one of the locals at the bar. Morgan approached a man that was sitting alone and introduced himself as Ed. He was friendly and quick to give out information, but Morgan got the feeling that he wasn't telling her everything. After Morgan regrouped with the rest of the party, it was decided that they needed more information from Ed, and Morgan was just the person to get it from him. So she convinced him to take her back to his place where they could talk in a more intimate setting. Well, Ed got a little more than he bargained for when he was put to sleep thanks to Raymond's spell and was violently woken up by Therian. Our new friend Ed didn't like having his nose broken, nor did he like being yelled at by a terrifying man calling him a primitive screwhead and brandishing his blade that was made in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Sorry, so it makes me laugh. All right, this was terrifying enough that he told him everything he knew. The mine had stopped working a few weeks back when a large man visited their town and spoke to Connor O'Shea, the local man in charge of the mine. He didn't really know any of the details of what they spoke about, but he let them know that he was being paid, so he was happy to play along with whatever the plan was. All right. The five of them did some additional digging and found out that Connor hardly came home anymore, and that he was likely still in the mine in his office. So they no longer had any choice but to make their way to the mine, where they discovered what happened to the last group that Saxton had paid to investigate. They were killed by the kobolds that had taken up residence in the mine. That wouldn't be the fate of our adventurers, though. No, fate had a different story to tell. Before the fighting began, Raymond cast his sleep spell, and 3 of the 4 kobolds fell asleep, allowing the party to make very quick work of the creatures. But that wasn't Raymond's whole plan. He walked next to one of the sleeping kobolds and very carefully placed him inside the bag of holding as if it was a nice sleeping bag. It was wonderful. All right, once the combat with the other 3 kobolds was ended, Raymond had a quick conversation with his new friend, thanks to a friend spell. They found out that the kobolds had been paid to hang out in the mine, almost as if someone wanted it to seem like the kobolds stopped the mine rather than something else. Well, with some very smooth talking, Raymond convinced this kobold, Sandy Beaches, that he wasn't actually going to be paid. This infuriated the little kobold, and he ran off into the mine to tell all the others. Some of them believed him, while others didn't, and the believers turned on the other kobolds. And with the help of their new kobold comrades, see what I did there, comrades? They stormed their way to the rest of the mine, all the way up to the door leading into Connor's office. So that is where we are, everybody. We are right there, hanging out in front of the mine, if you will. So, what would you like to do? You have 3 kobolds that are very eager to knock down the door and find out what is going on and why they believe they are not going to be paid. So, now what would you like to do before they charge in there?
Do we think the kobolds are going to be smart enough to actually start talking, or do you think they're just going to go in there and start stabbing?
Based on the interactions that you've seen that with their previous friends, how they went pretty much insane and started stabbing their little daggers into the bodies of their now former friends, you don't think they're going to be doing a lot of talking once they get in there. It's going to be very much a free-for-all, if you will.
So we probably don't want them to go in and take the Alpha Strike because we might end up losing our opportunity to find out what the hell is going on.
That's true. Or it's up to you what you want to do. I mean, you just send the kobolds in there to get themselves killed, or it's totally up to you.
Sandy, my friend, how about you guard the front of the entrance of the cave so we don't have anybody sneak up behind us? And we'll deal with the problem.
He's like, he looks back at you and he's like you're gonna make sure we get paid, right? Is it right? Because that's we want to make sure we get paid.
I hand him the gold I promised him.
He's like, okay. Well, he turns and kind of does a little chittering, a little conversation with the other three, and he's like, okay, sold. We will guard the entrance to the cave. And they're gonna walk their way over here. Do. Here, and since we'll go ahead and flip over to the other scene so everyone can see what's happening over here. Oh yeah, those little kobolds that kind of meander their way this way, and then they're kind of out of sight now.
Look at that transition.
It's nice, right?
Beauty.
That was badass. I almost peed my pants like 2 drops. That was amazing.
There you go. You got a door in front of you, and you got kobolds guarding the pathway, and a nice little palisade right next to you. Look at that.
So are we talking or are we stabbing?
Probably both, but is that a rug or something in front of said door? Because the door seems to be like right at the edge of the black, so it's hard to see if
that's a rug.
We should probably check under the rug for a trap and or a key.
Check that.
Here. That's not going to spoil any surprises. There you go. You can see that. There's the door.
Okay. If I was to look around.
Yeah, if you're going to actually investigate the rug or like actually see what's kind of going on, it would be an investigation check.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at the rug.
What do we see there?
Feels too convenient. You got to check that out.
All right, so you do a quick cursory look over the rug, and makes sense, just being cautious. And you find out it is a beautiful rug. It really ties the room together, and that's about it.
Beautiful rug.
It's nice. It's a nice rug. It's a shame about the rug, though.
I feel like my investigation was a little bit more than just cursor.
Oh no! I mean,
I feel like I should know the thread count and everything.
Yeah, you're guessing it's good. Like at least 300 thread count. That's very nice. So good. Actually, I don't even know what a good thread count is for a rug. So it's a nice one. It's very nice. Good to go.
By pulling it back toward myself, it just slides back to me nice and easy because it's just a rug.
Yeah, it's just a rug.
Mm-hmm. So you mean to say that inside of a cave where there's like dangerous situations going on, that somebody had the foresight to say, I want my office in this place to at least have some level of tidiness, to have a nice rug out by the front door? That's what you're telling me right now.
That is what I'm telling you.
I live in a class to the cave. It's
that, this is the kind of detail I appreciate.
Clean feet to walk into my office.
Yeah.
That's really what it's for. You could actually probably notice that there would be several, like, people wiping their feet off on the rug. It's good.
I fully intend to use it as soon as we start moving through there. His boots are filthy.
Rapes in
You gonna keep it, Beans?
I don't really care to keep said rug. I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing under it that would cause an issue on our path in.
Yeah.
Well, he's already too much trouble, so I'm going to take his rug and put it in the bag of holding.
Maybe it'll tie your room together.
Yeah, there you go.
So, we're seeing this, but is that the sight that we are now seeing because of the torch that was being carried as we brought in here? Because the other torch, I think, was being carried by a kobold.
I don't remember.
I had a light spell on my amulet.
I had a torch at one point.
Yeah.
I was just trying to understand the light source.
Yeah.
And if there was one right outside the office of said big guy.
That is true. Mordecai does have a bit of a light source on his amulet.
Yeah,
so.
I cast a light spell on my amulet, so I'm basically radiating light in a 40-foot diameter.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely good. So you can see the door. Certainly. All right. So how would you like to proceed?
Go get her, Ray.
Do you want to give them a chance to turn himself in, or are we just going in because he's endangered his people more than anything?
Well, to be fair, the job was to find out what's going on. It wasn't to go in there and beat the man senseless.
I think we should just try to take over the mine. I know, Ray, you got to be in on this with me. Let's get all the secret codes and let's just take this place over.
I mean,
we can tell him whatever we want when we get back to town.
We get him talking enough. I can just become Connor, and we can get these miners and the kobolds to do everything we want.
This game is becoming very different. We're gonna call it Sim Mine.
It shall be our secret lair.
Just had 2 sessions on conveyor belts.
Wait, satisfactory now.
We need a new hopper in shaft 3.
You want to tell Blackhead that the stamper stop stamping?
Fantastic.
I guess in this case it would be, do you want to tell Tharian that the stamper's not stamping? Yeah, there you go. That's how it would go. There, you got a door. What do you want to do?
Well, Mordecai, you're right there. Why don't you stick a beak in there and see what's going on?
I'm going to step up to the door.
Yes.
And I'm going to knock on it.
Okay, so when you
Just three quick knocks.
all right, so when you knock, you hear, who the hell is knocking?
Well, sir, we've been sent in to check and make sure that everything's going all right.
Yeah, everything's good here. I'm assuming you're speaking common too.
Of course.
Okay. Like, so who sent you?
I turn around. Help, I don't remember these guys' names.
Well, I mean, we could just say that Ed was concerned with Connor not being around.
All right, that works. I turn back to the door. Ed sent us in to make sure everything's going all right. He's concerned.
Wait, Ed, the town chatterbox. Is it you worried that he's worried that everything's going all right? He received a paycheck just the other day. Like, what's going on?
Look, Connor. Can we have a face-to-face conversation instead of screaming through this door?
Yeah. So at this point, you actually can tell that it's not Connor that opens the door. It's just some random dude, and he opens the door and he's like, "Yeah, Connor's busy right now. What's going on?"
Oh, hi. Yeah, me and my friends here. Why did you let me do the talking?
He's like,
Because it's more entertaining.
he kind of looks back and he sees like the 4 of you in the background, kind of armed. He doesn't see any kobolds. He's like, "Who? Seriously, who sent you?"
I turn and look desperately over my shoulder.
Is he armed with that perception check?
Yes, he is. He's not like currently holding anything, but he does have a like short sword on his hip.
Sir, I don't have your name, nor do I care to get it. Can you get out of our way, sit your ass down, because I've killed every kobold on the way in here, and you should just sit down and let us talk at this point. And I'm going to use an intimidation.
Okay. Let's see what you get. Okay, so he's a bit intimidated. He's not like completely terrified, but he is taken aback a little bit. He's like, let me see if Connor wants to talk, because like he doesn't really want to talk to you. He says you killed all the kobolds, and he's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna mess with you, but yeah, can you give me a second. So he kind of walks away and he closes the door behind him, and you hear you can actually hear a little bit of talking now that you probably are listening in. You can't really make out too much of the words. And yeah, that's when someone else shows up at the door, and he opens it back up, and he's like, what can I help you with? Name's Connor. He said something about killing the kobolds and all sorts.
Well, we killed a portion of them, but honestly, just put your weapons down. We'll sit down and have a conversation, because you just endangered all of your people, and if you had done this right, we wouldn't be here.
What do you mean done what right? What are you talking about? I don't know.
Do you realize how many groups of people you think Saxon sent out here?
Well, I'm aware of at least one, and that's what the kobolds were hired for, is to take care of the riffraff that I'm sure, Saxon was going to be sending, and I'm sure you're just another group of lackeys that he sent over, now aren't you?
And we're also a group of lackeys that just killed those kobolds.
Sure, but they were more of a, I don't know, distraction, maybe for the slightly more timid groups, unlike yourself. Well done, I suppose, getting this far. But they were more of a, if they were just sent to, go report back to Saxon the cause of the mine, maybe they just say, oh, a bunch of kobolds attacked. And then there you go. Then they'd go back, and then they could leave us all by our lonesome to do what we're doing. Okay?
Well, do you really think that after our group didn't make it, that Saxon just wasn't going to march his troops down here and kill everybody in this town because you wanted to be greedy?
Well, I'm not particularly, don't know much about that. This isn't really my plan, after all. I'm just playing along with the ideas that were presented to me. But
So you're just a lackey, is that what you're saying?
Well, man, well, I mean, we all work for someone, if you think about it. Other than maybe Saxton. Although, crap, he might work for someone. I don't know. Who knows? maybe some kind of like higher being that he reports to. I don't know what his affiliations are. It could happen. Anything I can help you with? Like you can run along. You go tell Saxon.
Yep.
Oh no, there's some guys in the mine that are being greedy. Yep.
Really, that's all Saxton really wanted to know, why he wasn't getting any of his shipments. I mean, we can be civilized here. There doesn't have to be any bloodshed.
What?
You shut up.
What I put my hand on his shoulder and said, what my friend's trying to say is, we would like to have a conversation with you, or my friend here will like to beat the crap out of you. And maybe we will drag you there kicking and screaming, because you're more valuable alive than dead.
All right, well, sure. Let's have ourselves a conversation then. You seem like, at least pleasant enough. I'll be perfectly honest. I assumed that if a party made it this far, they were just going to charge right through the door. But thanks for knocking, I guess. I mean, it's very polite of you. Okay, so yeah. Let's, sure, come on in. Have yourself a seat. So he invites you in, and you can follow if you want. All right, well, let's go ahead and reveal some sections now that you're in here. Let me make sure I get them all. Yeah, you can see all this. all of this, all of this. This is actually a well-lit room too, so you don't have to worry about it. So at this point, you'd probably see about that much. And over here too. There you go. That's what you see in the office. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right, so he takes a seat at his little table there, as you can see. And he's like, yeah, sure. What did you want to talk about?
Well, like we said before, Lord Saxton sent us out here to find out why the shipments have stopped. He didn't tell us to do anything about it.
He's like, well, now you know. And what are you gonna? I guess you want to go tell your boss. Yep. It stopped. You caught us. Red-handed, I suppose.
At this rate, I'm just wondering why you thought it was a great idea just to stop all trade to them instead of just funneling some. At this point, like, you could have done all of this and did that. Because you decided to be greedy? What?
Well, I mean, okay. Give me a persuasion check. Let me see how much he wants to divulge.
Not great.
He says, well, sure, to your point of view, I can understand why you might be thinking that. But, the person that I, spoke to, as, I'm sure, Ed, Mr. Blabbermouth that he is, probably told you. This was not my idea. So I'm, trying to, make a better life for myself and this entire town. And just so you know, it's not just, let's hijack a mine and, get all the profits. That wasn't, just so you know, that's not the plan.
I mean, I think that's more or less why we didn't kick this door in and go after you, because we generally like the people of this town. We believe you all need to be safe, but with the way you did this, you brought nothing but danger to your people.
Yeah, that's true. It actually is perhaps one of the things that was quite dangerous. But if you must know, we did take it to a vote. We all agreed that this was probably the best option, at least presented to us. I mean, I will admit, not all of us were probably like those that are coming up with plans or something like that. So we couldn't really come up with anything better ourselves. But just so you know, we were kind of, I'll just put it this way. We were a little tired of basically doing all of the work, sending all of the iron back to Inaron, and seeing barely any, really none of the profits. So eventually we figured that, that something needed to change. And if it got us all killed, well, that sucks. But we weren't going to sit around and do nothing anymore. It's basically what we were attempting to do.
Well, you see, I can understand all that, but my buddy Ray here has a point. Why didn't you just skim some off the top? Keep it for yourself and send the rest back. Or, hell, tell Lord Saxton that, the iron had kind of dried up. There was no more, what do they call them out here? Veins. That's right. Veins of iron. That way, oh, no. Now he understands why they're not coming out anymore.
You're like, well, that's a great question. And, one that maybe deserves an answer, but personally, one that I don't think I could give you an answer for. I was, like I said, I'm not the idea man. I'm just trying to, go along with the overall plan that was given to me.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. Me and my friends here, we're going to be heading back and telling Lord Saxton exactly what happened here. You all are okay with that?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm not exactly thrilled at the prospect, especially considering that, depending on what you tell them may mean a whole bunch more people are going to be showing up to, stomp us out, but
Here's
we knew that
here's
that was
my-
an option.
here's my concern. I can go through there and chop off the heads of all those kobolds and we can take them over to Saxton, but I don't know how many spies are actually in this town. I don't know who's reporting to Saxton other than us at this point.
He's like, well, I could tell you that the only people that I'm aware of that could possibly be reporting to Saxton were kicked out of town about 3 weeks ago. But those are the only ones that we knew about too. So it's something you'll have to, I don't know, a moral quandary. You'll have to decide for yourself what you want to do. I mean, it's up to you. I'm not going to stop you.
Excuse me, Mr. Connor. I have a question. So in our looking around, we noticed that the iron was still moving. It just wasn't going to town, which means it's going somewhere else. So somewhere else is paying money for it, or somebody else has approached you to pay money for it?
Well, we did have a bit of a stockpile, but no actual iron has been being extracted as of the last 2-3 weeks, but we did have some that was being shipped north. So that's a good eye. Yeah, no, we were shipping some north to another town. That was they're actually and if you must know, you seem like a kind enough person. They're actually one of the larger producers of goods. They often will smelt the iron and use that to create more of a, weapons, or for the most part, they're actually creating horseshoes, I believe is the number one thing they create there. But, so they're a large forge town that's, they actually have, where they do a lot of the manufacturing, apparently people don't like it when you have a really large forges running day in and day out, in the middle of your backyard. Apparently it stinks or something. I don't know. Having a mine in your backyard's bad enough.
So this other city is a city that is not managed by Lord Saxon?
It is, actually.
So it's still going to Lord Saxon via a different path. Kind of.
Go ahead and give me another persuasion check there. Okay, there you go. Okay, so with that persuasion check, he looks at you and says, yes and no. So you know that guy I was telling you about? This isn't the only town he's visited. So take with that what you will. Put it that way.
So if we were really delving into this, we would say that there is a different lord, or maybe even somebody that works for Lord Saxon, that is going around the back and making a bunch of side deals that is interfering with Lord Saxon's overall income.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But basically, you got it right. He is, I guess I would say he's being a bit of a, disturbing the status quo. Put it that way.
I mean, we just got paid to come get the information, and we have information, but I was just trying to make sure that we had all the right information. And also, if there was a way that we could deliver said information, still get paid, and therefore not shine a bad light on you guys, which seems like just good old workers.
Is it, well, I'm a big fan of that chop off the head of them kobolds you killed, and that sounds like a good one. I like that idea. Is it? I didn't get your names. That one over there. Yep.
I'm Beans.
Oh, how you doing, Beans? You seem like a good guy. The scared one.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be me.
Yeah.
So real quick, if we were to take the poor kobolds that have fallen in battle and took their heads back to display that there was an issue inside the mine because of these kobolds, would we be right in saying that things would be returning to normal and that he should expect in a few weeks a normal shipment? Or I'm kind of looking to see what that after is.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a bit of a thinker here. Well, I do know that I was supposed to be given whatever the next phase of the plan is in about a week's time. All right, so I don't have all of the information, and I think this is to be perfectly honest, I'm pretty sure that was part of the guy I was talking to's plan, is he didn't want to give all of the information to anyone who obviously is susceptible to the lot of you coming in and roughing up the org. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like, if I don't even have the information, I can't give it out.
And who's that one guy?
All right, well, give me a persuasion check. See if he wants to tell you. He's like, yeah, you don't need to worry about his name.
So
If we don't know who he is, we won't be able to go talk to him and try to convince him that we want to help.
Well, if you want to help, you can come back in about a week's time and talk to him then. Because I know.
How about you tell me now, or I smash the shield into your face?
Okay.
How does that sound?
All right, well, give me an intimidation check, and we'll see. We'll see if he responds better than that. No, not so much. He's just like, he kind of looks you up one and over, and he's like, yeah, that might hurt, but I think I can give you a bit of a bruising more than you could give me.
Connor, I got an idea for you. How about you have the kobolds work the night shift and you have your miners work the day shift? You have the kobolds or go to Saxton and then you sell the other stuff to the north.
So let me get this straight. You want us to return to a somewhat state of normalcy, but split half the shipments.
I mean, you're obviously not paying the kobolds the same amount as you're paying the regular workers. You pay your workers double.
Oh, that's true. They were cheap.
You pay the kobolds a little bit more than what you're paying them, and then you pay the workers the rest of it. You sell half to whoever, and the other rest to Saxton, and business is back to somewhat normal.
That way, we can all go back to Lord Saxton with clear conscience and tell him the problem's been taken care of, and he'll stop sending men to investigate.
He's like, well, that's something that we could consider. No.
I realize that it's not your call, Connor. We're going to have to talk to the guy who's giving you orders. Again, like I said, if we don't know who he is, we can't talk to him for you.
Say, well, you bring up a good point. In case you're curious, the man goes by, he only gave me his first name, so I know how useful that may or may not be. His name is Val. Okay. He showed up here explaining that he was going to, and the way he put it, he said he was going to rock the boat, right? So he wanted to upend this entire system that Saxton had going for him. And he knew that the one way that at least the nobility of Eneron would react is if you attacked his cash flow. And so far, that's what he's been doing. Is he's been going to pretty much every single one of the towns and getting them involved in trying to create a better life for us. Because as God, how did he put it? He said, the means of production are in the hands of the laborers. So something around those lines. And I was like, that sounds pretty good to me. Because I know for a fact Saxon ain't dirty in his hands, pulling this iron out of it, and he's raking in all the profits. So we figured, hey, you've talked some fancy words talking about how we can take over, blah, blah. I don't really know. And we went along with the plan because, well, he was paying. And he was paying a whole lot better than Lord Saxton. So here we are.
I'm actually starting to like what I hear from this guy, because if it's one thing that I love more than beating the piss out of someone is sticking it to Saxon. So,
and I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, it's starting to make some sense here. Maybe I'm feeling bad about threatening you a little bit, but not a lot, but a little bit.
He's like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Listen, my only concern with all of this is Val. He's not from here, right? He doesn't live here.
Here? No, he's not from Brandt.
So he isn't invested in where you live. He doesn't care about your family. He doesn't care about you or anything like that. So unfortunately, he's just bringing nothing but trouble if you don't find a way to at least keep Saxon's eyes off of you.
He's like, well, that's a damn good point too, because I can see just what 5 capable individuals were able to do. So I'm thinking we either need to hire a whole lot more kobolds, or we go with your plan about day shift, night shift thing. So
I hold up a talon finger. Excuse me for a moment, Connor. Let me confer with my colleagues for a minute.
Confer away. I'm we were chatting about logistics and trying to figure out things. How long
so I turn around, kind of get in the huddle. So are we doing this? Are we gonna stick it to Saxon?
That is my highest calling. So yes,
Saxon hasn't done anything to me. If anything, he's paid me. That's it. So
he destroyed my whole life, and I've basically had to claw back from the pits of hell because of him. So that's
okay. That's a good point. I can understand why you dislike the man.
Yeah.
I've been sticking it to Saxon for the last 5 years. So,
wow, he's like
and I worked for him.
He's like a big pincushion. Everyone just wants to stick it to him.
Well,
I got a big pin for him right here.
I don't think we should be union busters or anything. I mean, if these people want to make a better life for themselves, I mean, I'm all for that. They're not like they're killers or thieves per se.
All right, now here's my proposition. I'm starting to like these guys. They're the underdog. So how about if we don't go back to Saxon, he's going to send somebody else out here to investigate. Why don't we stick around for a week? What's that?
He's also going to hunt us down.
Yeah, that's the problem too.
We definitely need to go back and have a conversation. Even if that conversation is, again, the cobalt heads and we think that we've worked out the problem.
So maybe a little bit of misdirection. We can go back to Saxton and tell him we took care of the problem, show him the dead kobolds, and then say production should be resuming soon. He should be getting some shipments. And then we head back here and help these guys out.
Do you have any iron that we can bring back in good faith?
Connor, you talking to me? I thought you guys were doing that huddle thing.
I peeked my head up when I said that to you.
He's like, yeah, we still probably have about two days worth of shipments left before we kind of run out.
I can carry 200 pounds on my back.
Well, how about no? There's an easier way to do this.
What's your normal shipment when you're sending?
Oh, normal shipment is cart full that we send.
I was gonna say if y'all have a cart we can borrow, we can take the shipment back to Saxon. It's one shipment, and we can tell him everything's okay. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, we're gonna help you out.
I do have a question.
Okay.
I'm gonna look over Connor there. How much do you trust Val? Because my concern is Val working for another Saxton type person.
Like, well, to be honest, he was very persuasive. I'll put it that way. How much do I trust him? Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't know him very well. He showed up in the middle of the night about 3 weeks ago now, maybe 4-ish. I don't know. I'm losing track of time. I've been in a mine for a long time. I need to get some vitamin D in me or something. Jeez. So he's like, yeah, do I trust him? He seems like a pretty trustworthy guy. I mean, he kind of won me over, but I guess it didn't take a lot to win me over when he was talking about making a better life for myself, and yep.
So was this Val guy? You're workers. You understand what a worker looks like. I mean, was he somebody that looked like he actually worked for a living?
Were his hands rough?
Was he wearing all kinds of fancy jewelry? Was he a musician? Was he what?
Soft hands or hard hands?
Oh, he definitely had hard hands, but from the looks of things, I'd say he wasn't doing it from a life of like working in a mine, for example. It looked more like callous, like he was swinging swords and things along those lines, because he had some pretty gnarly scars on his body. He I don't know. Dude was yeah. You can usually tell a person by a little bit. You look at him and you see, okay, you got the build of someone who's been swinging a pick at your life. No, he's got someone that looks a little bit more, and he points it there in a little bit more like you, but maybe a little bigger.
Like him already.
So
he sounds like he might be a former soldier or a gladiator.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good guess. If I were to make a wager myself, that'd be my wager.
But a human.
Yes, he's a human. He's not a little guy like you, and he's not a bird like you. And for you look human to me, so there you go.
Well, I think we're in, right?
He's like, well, don't worry, we don't require you to make any weird, spit in your hand and shake on it. We'll just, we're gonna go ahead and assume that you're gonna be cool. I mean, I can tell you right now, you're the only group that I'm pretty sure would have knocked down that door. So I kind of like you guys already.
So cart heads, solved problem, come back here.
Can I make a suggestion?
I guess.
Do you have a mine shaft that's already been depleted?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's the southern bit of the mine is depleted. Oh, by the way, don't go out that way. We had a surprise for the locals. If anyone wanted to go down that way, it's a giant spider.
I suggest you cave it in. That way, if somebody does come and check this place out, you can say we had some issues.
Yeah, in
Go
fact,
balls
he's like,
caving in.
he actually kind of looked around. He's like, "That's a damn good idea," because I didn't know what we were gonna do about the spider once we got it in there.
What if one of your workers, one of
they
your
all know.
good,
Don't go
nice
to that
people
path.
discovered it?
We told everyone, don't go to the south. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but what if the spider came back out?
Well, I'm pretty sure he's caught a couple
You
kobolds.
feed it? Oh, well, there you go. There's a solution to every problem.
The kobolds kept disappearing on us, and we had to keep telling them, stop going that way. And they're very curious little guys. So,
Well, they're good people. So
yeah, they're good people. They just wouldn't listen to directions. Stop going that way. We're just like, where do rocky beaches go? Spider.
All right. So, in the interests of quid pro quo and information sharing here, we actually didn't kill all of the kobolds. Some of them are still alive, and they may be plotting revolution, fomenting insurrection.
I'll pay them.
You did what now? Like, how'd you pull that off? They seemed to be pretty happy. I don't know.
I'm very persuasive.
Well, I believe it. So, yeah, he's like, well, if you can at least calm them down and let them know that they may have, that everything's good. I don't know.
It should be easy enough. We'll just give them some money and tell them that there's a little bonus for their hard work and keep up the good work, and I think it'll all be good.
All right. Well, that's very kind of you. I appreciate you not sending in kobolds in here after me. Not that I wouldn't be able to take care of them, but I've grown rather fond of them. They're kind of nice to hang out and have a couple drinks with at night. Tell some really funny stories. Yeah, I'll be telling you. If you know a little draconic, it's some crazy stories that they get into. I don't understand half of it, but boy, is it funny. All right, well, I appreciate you not just storming in here and murder hoboing us like we all kind of assumed that some adventuring party that Saxon would have sent after us, because that's what Val was kind of warning us against. That's why we kind of blockaded ourselves in here, just to kind of. And he actually points around. He's like, "That's why we got so much food in here." He actually points at all the crates around here that they were holed up in here to prevent someone from being able to, show up in town and just carry him away, since he's the one that knew the most information and was kind of in there. So that's actually why he's been hiding out in the mine. It was the most defensible position, and he could hide out with a level of I don't know. You could make it up that it's like, oh no, the kobolds, they trapped me in here. What you talking about?
I'll be honest, Connor. I still kind of wanted to kick your ass, but
it's like, what?
I think I'm okay with you.
It's like, you wanna go?
No, not anymore.
All
Not anymore.
right.
Just saying. That thought did cross my mind. I'm being honest.
Connor, the only going I want to do right now is let's go to the bar and get a drink, and you can actually get out of this stupid mine and see your kids.
He's like, well, that'd be great. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, we seem to have found a bit of an accord, I suppose you could say. So, all right, well, yeah, I think this might work out. Let me get this straight. So, we can talk it over with the townsfolk, make sure that they're okay with it, which is we're going to be kind of working double shifts, but luckily the kobolds are going to be helping out from now on. So we're going to be still sending the same amount of shipments north to the town that I will tell you the name as soon as I come up with it. And then and then we're going to be sending the remaining whatever iron that we have left over back to Enerwan to make it look like problem solved. Does that sound like the plan that you described to me?
You're also going to collapse the southern tunnel so that way you could explain that there was a problem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm getting kind of creeped out by that spider. I'm happy to do that.
Maybe also say that you got an accord with the kobolds, so they're now working with you and instead of against you.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. All right.
Could you do one more thing as a personal favor to me?
Absolutely. What can I do for you there, Mrs. Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Morgan.
Okay, Morgan. What can I do for you?
Ed's a good guy. Can you show him a little bit of kindness? Maybe a small raise or something. He's earned it.
Earned it.
Boy, did he ever.
You guys do to Ed. I mean,
He's all right.
He's okay now.
Nothing that couldn't be fixed by a little magic.
Yeah.
All right.
The question is what didn't we do?
Well,
I hear you need a night shift lead.
Oh, well, that's true. I mean, he did kind of, he is a bit of a talkative person, so I can see that.
But he had nothing bad to say about you, and he appreciates that he's getting paid. So maybe you can show him some kindness.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. I'll have a conversation with him when we get back to town. All right.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I think old Ed would appreciate that too. He's been working here since pretty much he was born, but shit, that's everybody. All right, well, where would you like to go now? You want to head back to the tavern and have a conversation?
I think we were going to head back to the tavern.
All right.
We'll chit chat.
All righty, right. let's see here. Let's go. Let's see if I can just go back to a tavern here. Let's go back to a tavern. To a tavern.
Now, Connor, I do have another problem. I'm thinking, what happens if Saxon decides just to send troops out here anyway? Where are you going to send your people?
Well, plan was to get everyone the hell out of town by heading north.
Okay. As long as you have a plan in place, I'm all for all this.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things that Val told us about was if and when anyone shows up and they seem to have gotten the truth of it, well, and obviously weren't interested in playing ball, I suppose, that we were to basically abandon the town and head north. So, yeah, that was the kind of, bug out plan, I suppose.
What is the name of that town up north?
Oh, you're gonna make me think of the name of town? All right.
Yep.
To be determined.
The name of the town is one that I'll give you in a second.
Elk Grove.
Given there's nothing but trouble going that way, it might be Bakersfield.
Modesto.
Modesto. That's perfect.
That's there. The name of it is Wakefield. There you go. I'm gonna write that down. There you go. That's the name of the town from the north. Now here, while you're hanging out in town, and then say, do. Tavern. Yeah, here you go. Hey, look, Connor came with you. There you go. Boom. So he is showed up at the bar, and you were hanging out at the tavern, and just for your basically not kicking the crap out of him, and he was definitely expecting a fight at the very least. He has ordered everyone a round of drinks. So there you go.
Yay.
You can ask whatever you'd like, and maybe he will do his best to explain what he can.
Coffee.
Well, I'll have a nice house ale. And no, I still haven't figured out how Mordecai drinks.
We're going to assume it's a straw of some sort.
We'll get you a funnel. We'll just kind of...
just tip it up there. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost feel like there's like another bird that suddenly shows up and then like baby birds it into Mordecai's.
Damn.
Like, open up, Mordecai.
You almost killed Beans with that one.
Mordecai's like, ah.
Strong coffee.
Well, that regurgitated ale really goes down smooth after battle.
All right. So you don't have you got Connor here hanging out with you. You got some drinks, whatever the house can give you. Is there anything else you wanted to ask old Connor as he's hanging out?
Yeah.
So I think the next step is we need to put together a plan.
Okay. I agree. This sounds like a good idea. I mean, I was pretty happy with the initial steps of the plan. What was it? You were going to head back to town and drop off some iron saying, problem solved, right? And yeah, that felt good. I liked that part. What was missing from said plan?
Well, we don't know how often the shipments were supposed to be happening. Are y'all going to be able to keep up with those?
Well, I mean, if you want to go with a plausible deniability, you could probably say shipments will return in about a week's time as we ramp up production again. I feel like
that's what I was going to suggest. Maybe bring some iron back for Lord Saxton. Say we took what we could after we fixed the problem, and once everything gets ramped back up, shipments will resume as normal in a week's time. That way you can still meet with this, what was his name? Valerie? Val? And let him know that everything's going okay.
Yeah, I don't know if Val's short for anything. It could be Valerie. I don't know. He seemed like a pretty good guy.
Kilmer?
I don't know.
Short? Oh,
I don't know his last name.
Man.
knew a guy like that once. He was a great guy.
He was a real
Now-
saint.
Right.
I take a look
High
at the rest of
flyer.
the group. I take a look at the rest of the group and say, well, what about us? After we drop off this shipment and we tell them what's going on, are we going to come back and help these folks out, or are we going to go about our merry ways?
Yeah, I want to find out if there's a larger resistance movement that we can get behind, because we could be like a little strike team, mess around with Saxon stuff. I would love to do that.
I like the idea, but I want to find out more about Val because I don't fully trust Val.
Like, well,
Can you give like a brief description of like what he looks like or anything?
he's like, yeah. He walks around in what I could only imagine is some type of armor underneath a very large cloak. When he doesn't have the big cloak on, he's got rather dark hair, typically pulled back in a ponytail. Several scars on his face. None of those cliche under the eyes, just like he's got a big gash on his forehead, like he took one to the head. That wouldn't look like it hurt. So that's probably the most identifying mark that you'd probably see on him. Is it looks like he honestly probably took a battle axe to the head that just didn't quite go all the way in. Like, I'll be honest, it looked like it hurt like hell, but
I've been there.
I'm just going to go over here and smirk.
he seems
So,
good now.
A big armored fella in a cloak with a dented head.
No, it's not dented. It's just like, it looks like, well, I'll say when it happened, there was probably a little bit of a dent there. Just a large scar, you know. Yeah, it's not one of them pretty ones either. He looks, honestly, if you saw him in a lineup, you'd be like, oh, that's him. That's Mr. Messed Up Forehead.
Only his mother's allowed to call him that, though, I'm sure.
Well, we just call him Val because honestly, he looked like he'd mess me up.
Is Val from Wakefield? Does he live in Wakefield? Do you know?
No, he's actually originally from Enerwan. My understanding is he was once a soldier, mercenary. Shoot, I mean, honestly, and when it comes to the politics of Enerwan, I don't even know if there's necessarily a difference between a mercenary and a soldier there. So pretty much you're just getting paid to do whatever the heck the whims of the person paying you is. So he kind of grew up there, and from my understanding, he became very disillusioned for some other reason about whatever was happening in the town, and he came up with this bright idea to fix everything. There's a good chance he could make a mess of everything and it would just go back to the way it was, but hey, we all kind of figured it's worth trying.
Well, that's a lot better than what happened to me, because when I became disillusioned, I got thrown into prison. So I like that this individual has a similar thinking to what I had at one point. So yeah, we'd really like to meet him if at all possible. One, to, just sort of suss out the situation maybe a little further, but also to Morgan's point, it's hard to really know a person until you see him up close, so we can get a firsthand account.
So do you think the guards back in Eneron would actually possibly know about about Val? I can ask my friend Bob.
About Bob.
I can ask my friend Bob about him.
He's like, sure, it's a big town. I mean, I'd say anything's possible, but again, it's a big town. Like, you walk around going, you seen a guy with a jacked up forehead? I mean, people get kicked in the face with horses every once in a while. So I mean, you can have a few people with jacked up foreheads.
So I have a question for you, Mr. Connor.
Like, which question there, little Mr. Beans? How's it going?
Where'd you get that really cool headband?
Oh, my mother made it for me.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's usually keeps the sweat out of your eyes when you're working day in and day out. But you know, I just kind of came my look. Thought it was quite trendy. It was very, very beautiful. Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Any other questions? Is he finishing up your drinks here?
Will you be our main contact
Well, I mean,
for more?
Yeah. You can definitely come talk to me. I mean, I think at this point, there's no point in me hiding out in the mine, so you can just come stop by and talk to me in town. Because I mean, if you do get Saxton off our back with this whole plan, does succeed, I don't see any reason why I need to hide out there anymore. So you can just come see me at my house.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for the drink, sir.
Yeah, anytime. Stop by whenever you are done delivering the goods, I suppose.
So I assume we're going to be setting out in the morning.
Yeah, let's take a rest.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're very accommodating here. They do not charge you for your room because they're just like, yeah, these guys are cool. So yeah, you get a free room and board, compliments of Connor in the tavern. And if you are ready, it shouldn't be too terribly difficult since it is only level 2. You are now officially level 2. So
Yeah.
congratulations. Yeah.
Did it? Is that it? Did we win? Is the game over?
No, you got at least what is that? 18 more to go.
Oh,
if you're basing it off of just levels.
okay.
I assumed you would win if Saxton is at the dead.
Yeah, whatever level that happens, that sounds good.
I don't know. Depends. We'll see. Be level 2 for all I know. Yeah, some of you smooth talkers, man, you'll be like, "Hey, let's go talk to Saxton." Not saying it couldn't happen.
Hello.
Game over. Boop, boop, boop. All right, well there you go. You're level 2. Congratulations. There's a big fanfare. Fanfare. So yeah.
Do I need to update my sheet now?
I mean,
Is that
you could.
Is that a
Just
good
get in
idea?
a fight.
That's probably good.
Yeah. Shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Like I know Paladin, I don't think you get your oath yet.
Nah, that's a 3.
Yep, that's 3. Same with bards, you pick your college at 3. So
I do get a fighting style though.
yeah, I think the most you're going to get is Song of Rest there, Mr. Bard.
Yeah, I got some rest on the spell.
I got Channel Divinity.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Allie, you're going to be getting Action Surge, which is actually quite
And
nice.
Second Wind. Thank you very much.
Yeah, those are actually both nice. There you go. I believe you get both of those back after a short rest. I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, fighter, the one that always likes to take a nap between fights. It's like, yeah, you guys down for a quick little
Sounds
hour
alright.
nap, little power nap? Hmm?
Well, in the office, take a little snooze on the couch. It's fine.
And Rogue, I'm pretty sure you pick your kind of like main thing at 3 as well. So that would be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, hit points.
Yeah. Hit points, maybe another attack die with your sneak attack, possibly. I don't necessarily remember how that table works. All right. So, if you have finished up with your level, we can go ahead and kind of swing back over here.
1 second.
Oh, you got to pick your fighting style. I was like, come on, you want to go
No, I
defensive?
know what I'm doing. No, I know. Dueling. Come on.
Oh, okay,
It's,
dueling.
yeah. Listen, when it comes to fighting, I know all about what I'm doing in there. The rest of it, I'm like, I gotta figure that.
Yeah, sure. Perfect. Right. So while you're wrapping all that up, I'm assuming you will now be in the morning, getting your horses all ready, strapping them one of the carts to one of the horses, maybe one of the extra ones that Mordecai didn't ride. I don't know. they could probably provide a horse specifically for the cart if you, because I'm pretty sure the horses you got may or may not be totally accustomed to pulling a cart, but either way, I'm sure they can manage. Anyway, so you all ready? You got a cart full of an iron shipment, and I'm assuming you are on your way. And as you make your way back to the city, don't worry, there's random combats, because no, it takes you about 8 hours to get back, because it is roughly, like I kind of said, 25 to 30 miles. It does take you quite a while to get there, but you are on horseback, luckily. And then there you go. You are back in the city, and you are greeted by one of the kind of guards that would be standing watch at the gates, and he kind of eyes you. He sees that there's a shipment of iron, and he kind of like goes, "Huh, didn't think you'd be returning. All right then." So I think who is it that you were supposed to be seeing? I was told that you'd be, the 5 of you. Yep, okay, you're all here. Didn't lose anyone. That's good. They probably would have cut your payment to 400 gold if that was the case. Anyway.
Why didn't you think we'd come back?
Well, you're the third group that we sent out to Brandt, if I'll be honest, that I've heard about. So, third time's the charm, I suppose.
Fair enough.
Go us, I guess. Good job, all. Well done. Looks like you got the iron. So yeah, I'm sure.
Can you speak to Reginald?
Yeah, I was gonna say my boss Reginald will be very thrilled to see you. So please, we'll take it from here. So he basically says that we'll handle the cart of iron, and lead that off to where those shipments usually go, and you are free to make your way up to the city watch, and the kind of like outpost in the central ring of the city, the inner ring where you met with Reginald. They let you pass, and they're like, "All right, how's it going, everybody? You made it back." So, all right. There's no big fanfare. It's not like there's no rose petals falling as you're returning with irons. Sorry. All right. So, as you are now at the kind of office there, or then local station or whatever you want to call it, you can head on in and have a conversation. Okay. So I'm assuming that's the first place you want to go. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably all head into the office.
Okay. So, as you kind of expect this time of the day, Reginald is at his normal desk where you saw him last time, and he looks up as you come in, and he says, "Oh, back so soon, I see. I'm assuming."
And with a shipment of iron.
And with a shipment of iron. Wow. So I assume you were successful. So, speaking of success, what was the cause of the mine being
I pull
delayed?
I pull a cobalt head out of my bag of holding and place it on his desk.
He glances at it and looks and goes, that would explain things. Well, thank you very much for not only returning us with the information, but dealing with the problem. I'm assuming shipments will return on the regular? Is that...
Well, you see, there was also a mine collapse while the locals were trying to take care of this before we got there. So they had to clear it out. And once they clear it out, they'll resume shipments.
Very good. We'll go ahead and send one of our men to assist with clearing out the all that kind of debris and making sure that the shipments return on the regular. Now that we know that there is no more danger, if we will. Okay, so he turns and he looks. So it was 500 gold, correct? That was still owed to you. All right. And he looks and he looks over at one of the guards standing by, and he says, "Could you please fetch the other half of their payment for a job well done?" So The guard goes into the back room, pulls out another large box. This one is scribbled with the words "mine job," done. And he kind of pushes it across the desk. Looks like it's just a little chest, and, openy lid and all that. He says, "All right, is there anything I can help you with? Because for now, that is all that we had in mind. We thank you very much for your service. If there's anything else that comes up that we may need some assistance of your kind of capabilities, I'll say, where do you think is the best place that we could contact you?"
I look over at Raymond, not knowing.
I don't actually have a place in town, so we can always just check in from time to time and pick up jobs as we're in town.
All right. Well, very good. Whenever you are in town, please stop by and we'll let you know if we have any more work for you. Very much appreciate that.
All right. Well, pleasure.
You go ahead.
No, I said, okay, pleasure.
All right. So you're all done, and there we go. And is there anywhere you would like to go now?
As we walk out, I'm assuming we're walking out. I'm gonna look back at Reginald and be like, "Hey, Reginald, do you know where a guard named Bob might be at this time? Met him at the party and talked to him a bit. Thought I'd hit him up again, see how he's doing."
Okay, so he kind of looks and he says, "Yeah, we have a few, staff by that name. Do you have a description of what he may look like?"
That's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, you would know what he looks like, so you can give a brief description. And I'm assuming you do. He's like, "Okay, yeah, I believe he is on duty, and he's typically posted in the lower ring near one of the taverns down there." And he gives you a description of what the tavern is, and you find out that's actually one of the taverns that's the tavern where you were attacked. So it actually wasn't too far from where you kind of first started your little adventure from.
All right, thank you.
Well, of course, anytime. Thank you very much for, taking care of those pesky kobolds. I know that they can be quite the danger.
They were interesting.
Yeah, they're. I've never personally dealt with a kobold myself, but I've heard many stories. I'm glad that it was you that had to deal with them and not me. They like to gang up on hapless adventurers that don't know what they're doing. Well, where would you like to go next? Unless you would like to keep talking to this guard captain. It's up to you.
And the party's still going on for a month, right? So we still have partying happening, right?
Yeah, the party is still ongoing. There is a nightly feast for at least 2 more nights. It is a week-long celebration. So, yeah, you didn't miss much. You were gone for roughly 2 days, and yeah, you are back to the celebration. Still, like I said, still ongoing, and yeah, you can continue. You can partake if you are so inclined.
I know I want to go talk to Bob and see if Bob knows anything about Val or can point us in the direction of anyone who might know anything about Val.
Sure. All right. Well, you can make your way back to the tavern where you kind of got the description of where he may be, kind of working that evening, and take a look around and see if you can pick him out in a crowd. And after, I would say, a good 20, 30 minutes of searching in the area, you do see him off in the distance, and he's just kind of hanging out, making sure no one is doing anything crazy while the large party and kind of feast is still ongoing.
So I'm just gonna walk over there and say, "Hi, Bob. Do you remember me from a few nights ago?"
He says, yeah, you're Morgan, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Talked about getting a drink sometime. Just kind of hung out and chat for a little bit.
so yeah. Sure. I mean, I don't really have time right now. I'm a little, preoccupied at the job. But is there? I'm sure I could hang out in a couple hours after I get off my shift. What's we want to meet up at the local tavern here? Is it? I wouldn't mind.
I'd have to ask my companion to see if we're going anywhere tonight, but I imagine we're not after that drive. So, yeah, how about we meet up at the tavern when you're off your shift and just hang out?
All right. Well, anything anyone else would like to do in the meantime?
I think I'm going to wander the city, just enjoy the festivities, and keep my eyes open and see if I can't see any of my people.
Okay. Sounds good.
Because that was my original reason for coming here, and I kind of got roped up into this whole mine saga.
Damn the mines. Sure. Yeah, so as you are kind of like strolling and roaming all together, all wrapped up in one.
New word. Going to hear.
Mm-hmm. So you are making your way through the streets. You're making your way downtown, walking fast, faces pass, and you're homebound. At least you wish you were homebound. You do not actually find anyone that you recognize. No one is catching your eye. Obviously, no one is standing out in the crowd. So sad news there. But one thing that actually does catch your eye, and you think you're surprised. You're honestly a little surprised to see it, especially someone here in the material plane. But you see a temple, or I believe your god of Tempest. Is that correct?
Talos.
Okay. Yeah, you are a Tempest cleric for Talos. But yeah, you do see a temple in the name of your god. So there you go. And you are probably a little surprised, like, really?
I would be a little surprised.
These humans worshiping Talos? That's very interesting.
I am going to make my way into the temple.
All right.
It's been a little while since I've personally communed with my god, so I should probably go in there and be in his presence.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, as you head in, again, it's a little surprising. You do see that everything seems to be in order, basically, what you would expect in a typical temple of Talos. As almost if it was just plucked right out of the plane of air and dropped right here into the material plane. You feel quite at home here, even though you're not at home, right? The way the temple is kind of set up, it feels. I'll just say, it's very interesting the way that the temple was constructed. Is because whenever you walk in, it's almost as if suddenly it feels like there's a constant breeze blowing through the place. Almost as if like there's like cutouts in the walls and things like that, where you just like, it almost makes you feel like I said, a little bit more at home.
All right. Very nice. See, it'd be my opinion that any of my people who are displaced from their home would probably seek out places like this, assuming that they know. So I'm going to try and find a priest.
Okay. So you do see one kind of at the kind of milling about doing his normal priestly duties, but there's no there's no, what do you call it, sermon in session or anything like that. So it's the actual temple is relatively empty, other than just a couple people milling about. And you come across one, and he looks up at you and he says, "Oh, we have a visitor from the plane of air, I see. Is there anything that I can help you with?"
I nod. Glory to the Stormlord, brother. I have a question for you if you have a moment.
Absolutely. And I could, anything for a fellow worshiper.
Me and members of my village have been displaced recently. Within the past couple of weeks. We've been scattered, and I was wondering if any might have come in here to seek solace.
You are definitely the first that we have seen. I had heard from the high priest recently that he talked about a disturbance that he had heard that Talos was angry for something, and I didn't quite gather all the information or know what it meant, but perhaps you got caught up in that. I'm not really sure what would have taken place or anything. I don't know, but you are definitely the first that I've seen or come across. But I will definitely keep my eyes open and let them know that if I do see anyone, that someone is looking for them. Is there a name that I can give them if they cross my path?
If you happen to see any of my people come in here, and you'll know them from the other Aarakocra in the area, they look pretty much exactly like me. Tell them that Brother Mordecai was looking for them, and tell them to stay put.
I will be sure to let them know in the event that I do see any of them. But I'm very sorry that you're stuck here, at least for now. But hopefully we can get you and your people back home.
Well, I appreciate that. It hasn't been a wholly unpleasant experience.
Well, I'm glad that you've found it at least not completely intolerable. I understand that it can be a bit of a culture shock traveling between the planes. I myself haven't done any of it myself, but I've heard the tales of an adventurer a time or two, and it seems, I don't know, disorienting to say the least.
Well, my talons have been on the ground far more than I'd like.
So, well, hopefully you can return back to the plane of air and be back in the presence of Talos once again.
Well, thank you, brother. You mind if I take a moment?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Take as long as you'd like.
All right, I'm going to take some time to commune with Talos.
Okay. All right. So you are, I'm assuming, doing like some type of channel divinity, kind of like almost like trying to see if you can contact him in some sense.
Close my eyes and pray, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. As you were doing so, you don't actually hear anything, which is probably not uncommon, but you do get a sense of like, you as a cleric, and you are often channeling his will through each and every of your spells. You kind of get that same sense of like almost like a channeling through you, as like he knows you're there, he's just not chatting right now.
Fair enough. Just knowing that he's here and I'm not disconnected from his presence is enough to buoy my spirit.
Yeah. So he watches over his flock of birds, I guess.
And then when I'm done there, I'm going to head back out and enjoy the party.
Perfect. All right. So, is there anything else you would like to do before Morgan meets up with Bob at the tavern? Or Therian and Raymond and Beans just already at the tavern and drinking?
I'm gonna break off and go to the bank.
Okay. So, all right. So you head off to one of the local banks, and what would you like to do?
I'm gonna go to my normal receptionist and ask to speak to Terravis Ironthorn.
Okay. So with that, she looks you up and down and says, "Yep, one moment," and
I'll go sit in the lobby.
Yeah, so it does take a little bit of a time, but eventually, Mr. Ironthorn does come out to greet you and kind of looks you up and down and says, "Oh, Raymond, it's been a while. How's it going?"
Well, it would have been better if the last person you sent didn't try to out me in a last tavern.
Oust you? I'm not quite sure I understand what you're talking about. Could you be more specific?
Oh, Spy Master, you know better than that.
Says, "Yes, I do. I don't quite recall his name, who we sent to have a conversation with you, but I think he may have gotten the wrong impression. We simply wanted to bring you in and talk with you, but I think he was given the impression that he was to bring you in for skimming off the top, I believe is what he said.
Well, he almost caused a riot, and he might have caused a riot.
Well, I understand. We'll definitely have a conversation with him next time we see him because, honestly, I was just interested if you had had any recent information about what's going on with the possible revolution that has been whispered about in the city. Any news on that? Because that's really what he was supposed to speak to you about, and let's just say he lacked delicacy.
Well, we got the mine is back up and running, and they're done. They're gonna at least Saxon's at least gonna get his shipment.
Okay.
But I do need some information.
Well, that's what we deal in. So what are you looking for?
Looking for a soldier named Val.
Val. Well, not a lot to go off of, but I will check with my resources and see if anyone has heard any whispers.
I'll hand him the description I was given.
Okay. Give me 24 hours, and I will see what I can come up with.
All right. And I will see you then. I leave.
Okay. All right. Anyone else interested in taking care of any kind of loose items before we move on to chatting with Bob? What about Bob?
Since it is daytime and not nighttime now, I would have checked to see if there was any places that would have had spices or interesting kava beans or coffee beans or something similar.
Yeah, you could have explored the city for a while, and there was definitely a few, stores that definitely would have fit the bill. A couple that are just deal in normal, everyday, not necessarily your typical kitchen wares, which also include a whole bunch of different spices and things like that. Almost looks like a large anything to stock your pantry, basically. Oh, yeah. If you did want to go in there, the main thing that you would be able to find are the normal standard fare that you would see in a typical pantry of someone of wealthier means. So yeah, they definitely have a pretty decent selection in there.
Well, I have some gold now, so I was just going to go ahead and at least refill back out what I've used so far.
Okay.
So just kind of top off.
Yeah, absolutely. So they definitely have enough, kava beans or whatever you're looking to replenish your stores, and yeah, you're able to pick that up. Yeah, and honestly, it would probably only be about 2-3 gold to replenish your stores. So yeah, you're good to go for plenty more bean grinding. Awesome. So, Arian, is there anything that you wanted to do, or are you just hanging out in the tavern?
I just want a drink. That's it.
All right. Well, that is you've successfully managed to acquire a drink and
Thank
another one, and Brent's one more.
It's gonna be a few. Yes, I'm perfectly settled. Nice seat here.
I knew I liked you.
All right. Now we can go ahead and fast forward and say, Bob is no longer on the clock, and he walks into the tavern and he looks around the room and he walks over to, I'm assuming, Morgan, if you were waiting for him.
Yeah.
Okay, good assumption there. And he walks up and he says, "Oh, Morgan, yeah. So you are here. How's it going? How have you been? I heard a rumor that you went off to Brandt to do some kobold killing or something. That's the talk amongst the guards."
Yeah, we got sent out to see why the, shipments weren't coming in for, the iron shipments. And there was some kobold issues that we helped take care of.
Oh, well, damn. Well done. Never had to deal with a kobold myself, mostly just unruly patrons, really. So good on you.
They're a little tricky, but we get through it. And I mean, it helps that there's multiples of us, and you know, they weren't that bad.
Oh, well, I'm glad they didn't give you too much trouble. It would have been a shame to have get word that you had returned with in a pine box, I suppose.
Yeah, pretty much. You want to sit down, have a drink?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. See, yeah, I'll go ahead and Bob goes over to the bar and grabs a drink and orders one and returns and slides another one across for you. He's a gentleman that way. Yes, Bob. He's a good guy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what's going on? Like, did you have any questions in mind or anything you wanted to know?
Yeah, just kind of a guard where I came from. You're kind of a guard, or well, you're not kind of a guard. You are a guard. Just how's things? How long have you been guarding and protecting and taking care of those unrulies?
Well, I've been guarding for about 2 years now. Honestly, I tried my hand at adventuring and took an arrow to the knee, and now here I am. No, I'm kidding. I never took an arrow to a knee, but yeah, I've only been doing this for about 2 years now. It pays the bills, but yeah, I used to live out in the Midlands, kind of out in the central kind of area where there's really not much going on, and life kind of sucked out there. So I came here about 2 years ago, and this was really the only thing that I was qualified for. So here I am.
So you're from the Midlands. So you kind of you know about the Midlands, right?
Well, I mean, I know about the crappy little town that I'm from, but I wouldn't say.
Which town is that? Which town is that?
Town of Avery.
Yeah, Avery. I think I visited there once or twice in my journeys of guarding things.
You were running around guarding things in the Midland? That doesn't make any sense. Like, wait, were you? Hold on. I think I may have heard about. Let me see if I get this right. Were you kind of that roving band of do-gooders that thought that you were going to bring peace and harmony to the Midlands? Is that?
Yeah. No, I mean, there was a few groups out there like us, but we were one of the bigger groups, one of the bigger companies that were going around trying to just where towns needed help. We just tried to go there and help out, and try to bring at least some peace.
That makes sense. I don't know. You looked familiar for some reason, and so that I can see why I saw it. I may have seen you before. But yeah, it's definitely weren't too successful with that, I suppose.
Not really, which is why I'm here.
Yeah, I would say that's like playing, put out one fire and then you turn around and there's 9 more fires behind you that you just put out. So it's never a dull moment, I suppose, in that line of work. Probably doesn't pay very well either.
No, that's also true.
Yeah, I can't imagine a bunch of people, wanting to run out and pay you for you shutting down whatever corrupt operation they got going. So, I mean,
but we made our way through.
Well, that's good. It's better than what I probably would have done. I would have gone out there and be like, "Hey, you stop doing that," and then they would have kicked the crap out of me. And then this is why I do the steady job. That's that little life of trying to bring peace to the Midlands. That seems like a fool's errand. Not that you're a fool, but like I said, that's just what it feels like to me.
You're not too off basis. It does feel a little bit foolish at times.
Well, I'm glad you didn't take offense because it was.
No offense taken at all.
All right.
So
well,
let me ask you. I mean, you said you've been here for a couple years. Do you know someone by the name of Val? Apparently, was a soldier or mercenary or something. I've been hearing some whispers about him.
Val. Let me see. No, I can't say that I've ever met anyone by the name of Val. That's a little bit of a unique name. I think I would have remembered one, Val, but no, I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, is Does he owe you money or something? What's going on?
No. Just, in my, as you might remember, you might not, and that's okay. It's been a few days. I, came to Innowar trying to find different ways to bring peace and order to the Midlands, as you know. Very foolish, but I'm trying, and just trying to find information. And I heard that Val has some various thoughts about how to do things like that. So I just wanted to see if I could track down Val, see if anyone knows about Val and what he's like and that kind of thing.
You just want to sit him down and talk about his political philosophies? Is that what you're looking for? I mean, that's...
Yeah, just get some ideas. Like I said, I'm here. I mean, I'm going to venture and do things along the way because I got to make a living somehow. I got to buy these ales, right? But
True.
Along the way, I'm trying to gather as much information as I can to bring it back. Because someday that company, I'm expected to lead it, and I don't feel ready yet. So I'm doing my own hands-on research.
Well, there's a local library you could swing by if you're just looking for political philosophies. I mean, there's a couple I've heard of, but I mean, not that there's much to speak of around here. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's as you've gathered, it's pretty much who's got the money rules. And hey, look at that. The one that's got the money is currently in charge. So system appears to be working. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone seems super happy around here about that system.
Hey,
but
he pays the bills at least. Not for me. I mean,
well, for some of you, right? But as you know, sometimes that book knowledge doesn't work on the streets. That's why I'm going to the streets.
Yeah, down with those books. Those books suck. Boo, books.
I just chuckle and take another drink.
Like, I'm kidding. I actually enjoy a good read from time to time whenever I have the moment. Books are good, I suppose. But yeah, I see what you're saying. You need a little hands-on experience. I don't always learn by just reading. I understand. You need to get out there, get your hands dirty. So yeah.
Yeah, basically. Do you know anyone that might know where I can find Val, or anyone that works for Val, or anyone who's been here for a while that, won't raise an eyebrow that I'm asking about Val?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, I've been here for about 2 years at this current, post, if you will. So if I were to point out anyone that knows the most, it would be my watch commander. I mean, he's been on the job for dang near 20 years. So maybe he would know.
What's your watch commander's name?
He goes by Norm. He's just a normal guy. That's what we like to say. He's just a normal guy, but no, it's Norman. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's Norm. He's one of those guys that everyone likes to, he's like, hey, it's Norm, whenever he shows up. It's kind of like that. Everyone knows Norm. Everyone seems to know his name whenever he walks in here. So if you ever see anyone turn and get really excited, that's him.
They're always glad he came, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. They're always glad he came. Mm-hmm. He's a bit of a drinker too, if you haven't. So, I mean, he may show up tonight whenever his he's off duty. He wouldn't be, I mean, you never know. For all I know, he could be here now. We just missed him.
What does your friend Norm look like? I mean, I'm guessing I would know when he walks in. If people are excited to see him.
When he walked in for sure. But if he's already here and he's already settled in, he's probably over at the bar just drinking. He's a bit of a he's a graying older gentleman. Like I said, he's been on the job for about 20 years, and he's let himself go, but he's still in charge. We like the guy. He's all right. Let's just say he's not the one chasing down all the hoodlums. He's usually yelling at us, "Go get him!" as he's in the back going like, "Yeah, I'll just be over here. It's fine." Yeah, so yeah, he usually hangs out here in the evening. So I mean, I honestly,
Do you see him now?
So he looks around and he's like, "No, I don't think he's here," but he kind of like looks outside and he sees the sun kind of starting to go down, and he's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in a couple, in another hour or so. You definitely see him show up."
All right. Well, that's good. Might just hang out here and have another drink or so, waiting for Norm. I mean, I'm so glad you joined me and that we were talking, but I know you might be tired from your shift. If you want to hang out, you can hang out with me. You need to go. I understand.
He's like, yeah, sure. It's been a good chat. I was just gonna head home to my lonesome apartment. So it was nice having a conversation with somebody other than myself and my cat. So appreciate it.
It's nice talking to someone from the Midlands. I'm feeling a little lonely sometimes, so it's nice to
Yeah.
someone gets it.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I'll probably hang out for a little bit longer, but yeah, I'll probably head home in a bit. Appreciate it. You could probably get the idea that he feels a little dejected that you're just looking for some guy named Val. And he's like, once again, lost my shot. Yeah, so
Damn
he
that
hangs
Val.
out for a bit more, chats about his, this and that. But yeah, right on schedule. Like he said, probably about an hour or so later, the entire bar erupts into a no. This older, large gentleman walks in to the bar, and he just says some random crap about how, he doesn't like his job and his job sucks. But what are you gonna do? He takes a seat, and before he even sits down, his usual order is already waiting for him. So he takes a seat. He clearly is a fan favorite around here, I suppose.
Can I see Therian from where I am?
Sure, he's probably posted out at the bar, and a constitution check or two later, that I'm sure he succeeded. I'm sure he's fine.
If he's still fine, I'm gonna kind of eye him and kind of nod in the direction of Norm, trying to see if I can signal to Therian we need to go talk to Norm here.
All right.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I see it. It's a little hazy, but I see it.
Is my buddy Bobby still here, or did he leave?
No, he left. He doesn't. I don't know. He always feels it a little awkward to be hanging out and drinking with the same time his boss is there. Like he'll be there for a little bit. It always feels like one of those weird team building exercises that he's just like, can you not? I just want to go home. This is dumb. I don't want to go.
I know those well.
I don't want to go jump on a trampoline with my boss. This is stupid.
That's a good call.
So yeah, he's like, hey Norman, and then he heads out. He's like, yeah, I'll catch you later. Not that he's he kind of as right as Bob is about to leave, he's a little bit of a hypocrite himself. If you're gonna say, he might give you a hard time for being out too late drinking as well. He's as you can see. so yeah, he heads home. Bob is now left, and you are left there with an older gentleman. You probably guess that he's late 40s, maybe early 50s. Doesn't really like his job. But he's been doing it for a long time, and he knows he kind of knows what he's up to. So there he is. It's Norm.
All right, I'm gonna walk over to Norm. Is there a spot open up next to Norm?
Yes, there's one spot open because there's another spot that is currently occupied, and he is chatting to this very, very chatty individual. He is talking about some very weird, inane fact that you're just like, how is any one person supposed to know this? And it's very bizarre. And then you're kind of getting the feeling that he might just be making this crap up, and it's just completely off the wall. You don't actually know if what he is saying is actually accurate, but he BS's very well. I'll put it that way. Norm seems to be digging it though. He's having a good time having a chat with this guy.
All right, so I'm gonna go over there and look at him and be like, can I take this chair next to you here?
Yeah, he looks over and he's like, oh, absolutely, sure. Yeah.
No, I'll sit next to her
Okay.
on the other. So
we got Therian, Morgan,
Two over.
Norma, random guy talking about crap.
there we go. Yeah.
That you
I'm
can
giving
probably
Norm a
get.
second so he goes back to his conversation. I'm gonna lean over to Therian and let him know that this is Bob's Commander or Bob's watch commander, and he has been here for a long time, like 20 years. So he might know something about Val, maybe.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Let's see what we can get out of him.
Nicely, though. Nicely.
I will be on my bestest behavior.
Okay. Well, he kind of looks over. He just assumes that you're just, sitting there. He's not really saying anything. He's actually more interested in whatever the heck that this his old friend is talking about. Yeah, just listening in.
So I'm gonna kind of sit there for a minute and listen, and kind of wait for my moment,
Okay.
and kind of chime in and be like, "Wait, is that really true?"
So the guy kind of leans forward a little bit. That was just talking. He's like, oh yeah, absolutely. That's no, like it is 100%. You can take it as the God's honest truth. You know for a fact that the the normal velocity of a sparrow it's at least 32 leagues at once, and they can go 19 quasars at a time, and it's fantastic. And we even did some studies. We found out that if they are if they're able to grasp a coconut by the husk, that's how the coconut migrated, and it's fantastic. It's how that works. So yeah, 100%. We know what's going on.
You've done these studies yourself?
Well, yeah, not me personally, but I witnessed some of it. I was able to read some of the papers on what was going on with that. No, you can take everything that I'm saying as 100% accurate.
Norm, do you believe this?
He just looks over and he says, I ain't believed a damn thing that Cliff has said in 19 years.
Wow, so you've been around for a while then, haven't you? I'm sorry, I'm new to town, so I'm just, here for the festival and hanging out.
Yeah, I've been here a long time, and so is this asshole. He showed up a little bit after me. He's he's one of the guys that delivers the post, so he thinks he knows everything.
Well, he seems like he knows everything.
He's a good shit talker. That's what he is. And when I say shit, he's making up a whole bunch of bullshit is what it is. So and Cliff clearly taken aback. He's like, "Whoa, what are you talking about? Come on now. I get this from the source. I read the local papers and I know what's going on. Like no, I'm always in the know. You can take everything that I say with 0 grains of salt involved. You can just be like, yep, this is what I'm saying is spot on." He's a little offended, but he's used to it.
Is that African or European?
He's
That's the real question.
Cliff looks back at you and says European, obviously. European.
Well, I'm just from the Midlands, and we have not done those kind of studies over there, so that's very interesting to find out.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to civilization. It's lovely. You stay a while and listen.
I'm actually a soldier for a company over in Midlands, just trying to bring some peace and order to various cities. And as you can imagine, the civilization doesn't go too well over there. But over here, I'm just seeing if it goes easier.
Yeah, well, good luck with that, I suppose.
You've been here for a while. Do you think it's pretty easy to bring peace and order here?
Are you asking Cliff or Norm?
Norm.
Okay. He looks at it and he says, No, it is not easy to keep the peace. However, it's a noble profession. It's pays the bills, and you feel like you may have made a difference at the end of the day. And then he kind of like trails off. He's like, what the hell am I saying? No, it's not easy to pay the damn bills, and everyone hates you, and it's lame, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, I mean, everyone knows that I hate my job around here, so hey, it's no secret. How you doing?
It's not an easy job. I get that.
Nope, it's not. But, you know, I mean, the one nice thing about being the commander is you can kind of just be like, hey, go deal with that guy. And then they'll go deal with it. And you can just, you know, as they say, delegate, delegate, delegate. And that is my job now.
That is true. That's true. That's true. I'm ready to lead a company myself, kind of similar to your position. So it's interesting to hear your tales.
Yeah. Delegate. That's if you're in charge, tell them what to do. And if someone tries to give you any lip of like, hey, you wouldn't do this, why are you making us do it? And you can just say some random crap that is totally not true. Like, you know, I wouldn't give you an order that I wouldn't do myself. That's my go-to line. I act like it's true. It's probably not.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So do you get to know a lot of the guards and mercenaries around here over the years?
Yeah, I've definitely, you know quite a bit of them. We got a bit of a, as you can imagine, a little bit of a turnover rate issue. It seems like we're always bringing in new recruits, and because either someone died or someone just can't take it anymore. Yeah, so we're always training new folks. I like to say that I never forget a face, but everyone knows that's a big lie. So I'll see if I can. See if I can.
Not
help
easy
you
to
out.
remember them all.
What are you looking for? Someone that did you wrong? Is that
No, nothing like that. I just, like I said, I'm here mostly just doing my own research on the streets, if you will, trying to bring some information back to the Midlands so I can try to make my foolish attempts at bringing peace and order. But I'm hearing whispers around that I should talk to someone named Val or someone that used to work for Val or something. Do you know a Val?
Yeah, I've met him. Larger guy, right? Looked like
Big guy. I heard he's got a nasty gash on his head.
Yeah, it looked like he got kicked in the face by a mule, but yeah, no, I met the guy. It's all right. He seems to be a good guy. I don't know, like he never really worked for me, but I met him a time or two, during one of those big staff conferences where they tried to do one of those like, hey, everybody, it's gonna be fine, blah blah blah. Those things that I usually pass out at the end of, blackout drunk.
Probably not much anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I met him a couple times. Like I said, I never forget a face, especially if he looked like he got kicked in the face. So he's like, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him for about 3 years now. Like, what do you need him for?
I just heard that he is someone that might have, some various thoughts on how to bring peace and order and prosperity to towns and cities and the like.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I ain't seen him in about 3 years. That's last I heard of him. One of the other commanders that he worked for, we were hanging out talking about what had just happened. And I guess, he got into some deal, or he was told to put down some local, crime syndicate or something. I don't really know all the details, but I don't know. He came back from the job that he was supposed to deal with. He was, sent in with a few guys, and he up and quit. He was like, put in his 2-week notice, and he was out of there. I don't even think he'd take his 2-week notice. He was just like, I'm out. You can take this job and shovel it. I think that's how that saying goes, right?
You're probably right. I'm just gonna take another drink of my ale here.
Yeah, no, he quit a while back. I don't know. I guess something upset him or whatever.
So he started working with a local. He tried to put down a local crime syndicate and then quit mysteriously. Mysteriously, it seems a little mysterious.
I don't know how mysterious or not mysterious it was, but he just up and quit. I mean, but like I said, I wasn't his boss. I didn't do his exit interview.
Yeah, that's true. Who was his boss? Just pure curiosity.
His boss was some guy that went by the name of Ralph. Like to wreck things.
I'm sure he did. Well, I'm going to just glance over to Therion and see if he wants to add anything or say anything or ask anything.
We need to find this Ralph.
He's like, yeah, he's probably actually on duty right now. You can probably find him, and he gives you, directions of where he would be on post. He's actually in one of the lower ring, kind of like, guard houses is where you would find him.
It's very helpful, Morgan. I think you and I need to take a little stroll.
Yeah, I think so. But Norm, I appreciate your time. I don't want to interrupt your dinner. You drink. I'm gonna kind of
liquid dinner.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put a little money on the counter there at the bar and say, "Get another one on me." Thank you for a nice chat.
Yeah, he looks at the money and he says, "I'll get at least 3 or 4 more on you. Don't worry. Thank you very much."
I'll throw another coin down myself.
He says, "You are a very kind individual. I'm very glad that I gave you all that information that I don't know is worth your while or not, but that's the best I could do."
Well, I appreciate your time, Norm. Thank you. And you were just as wonderful as everyone says you are.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that I can live up to my reputation that I suppose I have.
All right, I'm going to take the last swig of my ale and look at Theron and head out.
Likewise. Slam it down. Get on out.
Perfect. So.
Hi, Norm. Everybody knows your name.
He just kind of looks over. He looks over. And he's like, "Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. I'll catch you later, guy."
Well, so who all is there? Because Morgan and Therion are there together. Is there anybody else nearby, or are people still kind of spread out?
I think Beans is with us now.
I feel like at this point, Raymond took very little time at the bank to meet with his, contact, and Mordecai was at the temple, so they would have had plenty of time to get back to the bar if that was the
yeah. At this point, I went through and sampled some of the food, drink in the party, but Mordecai's not the partying type, so I made my way back to the tavern. I'm there, but I'm like kind of separate and just kind of listening.
I was very interested about the way that coconuts migrate, so that's why I came over to listen to the talks.
I'm just gonna look over Beans like, "I'm sorry I didn't see you there earlier, Beans."
Oh, good.
He grips it by the husk. That's how they migrate.
Mm-hmm.
How about Ray? Raymond back too?
I mean, I'm probably not too far from the tavern. I'm probably enjoying some street food and reading my book.
So for Morgan and I, we should probably fill the group in on our leads to Val. Tell everyone we've got
all that info.
A former boss, Ralph, who's known for wrecking things, who we might have a beat on the lower ring down near a guardhouse. Maybe we can get some more information about what happened to Val after he quit. Maybe a way to get in contact with him, where he might have hung out, his dog's name, whatever we could get.
Why he quit after putting down a crime syndicate.
Yeah, all that jazz. Just make sure everybody wants to come with us. If not, you can keep migrating coconuts. Trying to figure out how you drink through a beak. We can do that.
I'll come with you, but I don't know if we should be looking for Ralph. I mean, I think if we want the good guys, we want to find Felix, but hey, whatever.
Felix might be there too. We don't know.
That's a deep cut.
There's some walls that are broken.
So many walls. We no longer have 4 walls. It's just 3 walls and an open window. It's fine. Perfect. So, where are y'all headed? What you up to?
Guess down to that guardhouse patrol area. Start to see if we can find the guy.
Off the lower ring there.
Sure. All right. Well, Norm, as he tends to be, is very thorough with his information. You can probably tell it's most likely one of the reasons he is even still employed is he does actually have a pretty good memory. He knows kind of what's going on in the town, and he's able to give you very good directions. And yeah, you find the guard outpost that's kind of nestled away next to an alley. Yeah, and you see several guards milling about, making sure that no one's messing with anything. Because one of the things that can happen is these little celebrations can get a little unruly at times, and maybe they'll mess with the guards. So yeah, it seems to be a little larger presence here than some of the other corners. But oh, there you go. You see several guards in there hanging out.
So I'm gonna go in and hi,
Okay.
gentlemen. Sorry to disrupt you here. Is there someone by the name of Ralph here?
Well, you're looking at him, ma'am. What can I help you with?
Hi, my name is Morgan. It's my buddy over here, Therian.
Hello.
Norm sent me over. I'm
Norm.
actually
That guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Norm. Hey, Norm. Seems like a great guy. I like him. I had a nice little chat.
He's all right. He's a little talkative for my taste, but sure.
I don't know. His buddy Cliff seemed a little more talkative, but
Oh, that asshole? Yeah, don't listen to anything he says.
So, Ralph, I actually am from the Midlands originally, trying to bring some peace and order over there, and I'm actually over here in Enowar just trying to hit the streets and do some research and figure out how other people bring peace and order to their towns, and that's why Norm sent me over here.
Oh, shucky gee darn, you just straight from the Midlands, are you? Well, welcome to civilization, I suppose. Huh. He obviously thinks people from the Midlands are lame.
Some areas of the Midlands could use some civilization. You're not wrong with that.
Nope, I'm not wrong. We've dealt with plenty of jerks that come strolling up in here, and
Believe it.
yeah. So, okay, what can I help you with? Norm sent you here. So, anything that you're looking for other than how to fix things, hire a large enough force to deal with people that might burn your possessions down. There you go. That's how you bring about lasting change in a civilized society. Brute force.
That actually makes sense. As Raymond and Beans walk in, I introduce them. It's part of my force here. We took out some kobolds over there over in Brandt for a while. I can see how force is definitely.
Ooh, you took out some kobolds, did you? Well done. You're a regular hero. Good job.
Have a good laugh. Kind of slap the counter a little bit. I actually was wondering if you know anyone by the name of Val. I'm hearing various whispers and me doing my research and studies and
Whispers.
some people saying I should
asshole?
talk to someone named Val.
Yeah, let me tell you in a non-whisper tone. The dude's a jerk. He up and left right in the middle of his shift one day. That was about 3 years ago. Hope I never see him again.
Yeah, he left after putting down a crime syndicate. Like we have plenty of crime syndicates in
That's
Midlands.
about a bunch
So.
of common thieves. What you talking about? Crime syndicate. Someone's blowing smoke up your hiney there, Missy. No,
That'd be Norm. That'd be Norm.
Oh, okay. Well, clearly the game of telephone failed him when all the information got passed down to him. You see what had really happened, and I remember it like it was yesterday. No, basically, he was told to deal with a bunch of common thieves, and then, came home and threw down his. We don't really have badges, but imagine the equivalent of. He's like, I quit.
They don't need any stinking badges.
I got a cool one.
Well, okay. You have a badge, but we don't have a badge. We usually, I guess it was very dramatic. He kind of threw his tabard down, but it's hard to, this cloth, it looked really awkward the way he was like, he's trying to strip it off, and he just walked out, and I was like, damn, we're going to go get barbecue later that day. And he just got all upset. Bad. What do you want to know about Val? He's a jerk. There you go.
Where can we find him? Where does
Yeah, what's he
Where-
like? And where can we find him?
Where can you find him? Should have I know. I don't want to see the guy ever again. I ain't seen him in 3 years, and that's like to keep it that way. I mean, 3 more years without seeing his dumb face. Yay me. That's a success. Shoot, I mean, but if you really want to go look for the guy, I mean, last I heard, he was living off in the lower rings. You know, when you quit your job, you know, no longer have a steady income, just become a loser, sucking off the charity of others. Just some leech on society. So he's down in one of the I guess you'd almost say it like one of the homeless shelters. It's not really a homeless shelter. It's more like a shanty town is basically what he's describing. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's the last I heard is that's where he wound up living.
I'm gonna look at the rest of the group, see if they have one ask questions.
Is he telling the truth with that insight check?
Yep, let me check. I had a different window up. Oh yeah, he is telling the truth. Yeah. You can definitely tell that he is, number one, doesn't like the guy. Number two, last he heard, he was living at Shantytown after he quit his job as a guard.
Does Val have any family you know about?
Well, that's a touchy subject. No, as a matter of fact, he did. But his entire family actually wound up got killed.
How?
Well, I don't know all the details, but he had 2 brothers that were also working for the same line of business, also guards, and they wound up getting killed in the line of duty.
No spouse, no children.
No, none of those. No, he was pretty close from his family when he was still working for me and still a decent guy. He actually, you could see him kind of hanging out with them on the regular, and he got understandably, I'm not gonna give him crap for this, but he understandably became pretty moody after the loss of his brothers, who was pretty much his only friends in town. So that's when he I would say became the asshole that I know him today, or knew him at least. I don't know. Maybe he's got his crap together in the last 3 years, but my guess is no.
Where exactly in the lower ring was he living? Can you give us directions?
Yeah, he gives you some rough directions of where a large, what you would, into today's standard, would be considered kind of like a homeless shelter. But it's not really a homeless shelter. It's more like an encampment where they have just built up out of any scraps and anything that they can kind of cobble together an existence that is, So yeah, it's basically out in the far lower rings of the city, kind of on the outskirts of town.
That's all the questions I have. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, sure. Glad you're not making any trouble or reporting any stupid work that I need to go deal with.
Day ain't over.
That's true.
I was about to say the night's still young.
The festival is still happening. I know how
Yeah.
these things go.
I'm sure.
I've seen that little one shoot a guy in the neck, so we got a lot that goes on.
It's 100% self-defense.
It's like, I believe you. You do not look like someone that just goes around shooting people in the neck, sir.
No, that's her.
He kind of
Only when warranted.
He kind of looks at the axes and goes, I can see that.
Can't deny it entirely.
Well, you all have a fantastic evening. I got some more paperwork that I need to do. We just dealt with a couple local, friggin' bar fights that we had to deal with. So I got to file the paperwork and make sure, blah, 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 civil liberties aren't being infringed upon, blah, blah, blah.
You have fun with that.
Yeah, I will have a ton of fun with that. It's going to be great. I appreciate the sympathy for the crap that I am about to be doing, which is writing up a report on this. I'm pretty sure my report will be he was asking for it, and that's they don't like it when I turn that report in, though. I've done a few of those.
Well, don't work too hard.
I won't. I never do. Surprised I'm still employed.
All right. Shall we go check out this homeless camp?
Do it.
Yes.
All right.
Shantytown for the win.
Town. All right. So you continue to make your way through the town, the city streets, and things are getting more and more and more and more and more run down as you are going further and further north in the city. This kind of seems to be like on the northern edge of kind of like the where you would kind of consider to be the city limits. If anything, you would kind of consider this to be almost like the unincorporated part of town, right? They just kind of claim that like, oh, homeless population. We don't have a homeless population. Oh, over there? Oh, that's not us. They just like kind of pretend that this is the dividing line of like, oh, Eneron's fine. We're all good. But no, over there, that's Eneron 2. That's the 2. Yeah, they're poor as shit over there. So yeah, as you are getting there further and further, you can only imagine that there's all sorts of crap that happens because you are seeing less and less guards as you are making your way into town or further towards where you were described as where Val was taking up residence. Kind of stinks there over here too.
I'm guessing there's
not
no.
very well maintained.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's no guard types, nothing like that.
I haven't been to this side of town in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, if you were to use a WoW reference, it's the part of Borealis where you actually get attacked is kind of where you are slowly heading into. So there you go. You see shifty folks. You see people that you would imagine are some type of pickpockets milling about. And you see all sorts of unsavory folks that, you can't really tell if they're just down on one's luck or they are just, actually just a criminal element that says F it all with that and has decided to live over here. So, what would you like to do?
Keep an eye on my pouches.
Don't touch the coffee. Yeah, you don't see anyone approaching you. It's actually the streets are pretty much empty, but some folks are kind of just milling about, sitting along. You would kind of be what used to be a storefront, but it is now boarded up. And yeah, not much, commercial or, kind of like activity of that sorts is going on over here. The most part you see is pretty much abandoned.
Well, I'll look around and see if there's anybody who seems receptive to a few questions.
Sure. So you are walking through. You do see a few people that are just kind of muttering to themselves. Another couple that are just, seem to be not interested or just glaring at you like you don't belong. But then you do see a couple people that are, you can see kind of through what is basically like a shattered window, almost looked like it was an abandoned bar. And they're actually sitting at a table and pretend almost like, just playing dice amongst each other. And they're just sitting there passing the time as they are there. And by your guess, and everyone, especially anyone who has been in the city for long enough, you can actually tell that there's not too many people in this part of the town right now, because the majority of those that live here would actually be taking part in the celebration right now, because free food, lots of free drinks and things like that. So many people would be taking advantage of that. There you go.
Okay. So like it has like a door, or is the door broken out?
The door is completely off its hinges, and just you can see where it once well, it's kind of just laying on the floor now. So yeah, you can just totally see them from the kind of like streets and alleys, just hanging out, chatting. They seem to be, no different from anyone else you would run into in any other bar, other than they probably don't have any money.
They're also not talking to themselves. So,
No, they're talking to each other.
all right, let's go ask these guys some questions. They seem like they might have some answers.
All right.
Good nod and follow.
Likewise.
Always trailing.
Yep.
All right. I'll walk up to the door, kind of knock lightly. Afternoon, gentlemen.
Yeah, I suppose. They kind of look around and they go, I guess afternoon would be close enough to what we are. I'd call it evening, but sure. Good evening to you.
I don't keep track of the time. What are we playing?
Oh, just dice. Just passing the time. You can tell there's no money out on the table or anything like that. You would probably consider this to be effectively like a game of like liar's dice or something like that.
Okay.
They're just playing for the fun of it.
Just rolling dice because they can roll dice.
Well, it's the it's the game where it's like they've got it in the cup, the shirt down there, and then they'll say something like, I got like 3 5s or something like that, and then you basically have to say, bullshit or not, and it's pretty much how the game kind of is played. I could get you. It's a real game, so I could get you the rules if you really want. But
I've actually played it. I know what you're talking about. So we're actually looking for somebody, or at least some information on somebody, and we were directed down here, hoping you guys can help us out.
You were directed down here to be looking for someone. I'm assuming. Let me see if I can guess. You're looking for a criminal, and he's on the run, and he's hiding out here somewhere. Am I close?
You couldn't be further from the truth, friend.
Well, then this is the first of whatever this conversation is about to be becoming, because that is the first time that it was not the person that they were looking for. So this feels like a unique opportunity for me. Wow. Who are you looking for that is not a criminal that is apparently on the run? Wow.
Well, there was a man who used to live down here, goes by the name of Val, I believe. You would have to know anybody by that name.
Yeah, I've definitely met him. What do you need with old, me will punch you to the face?
Me will punch you to the face. I like that. My friend Morgan here is actually looking to ask him a few questions. Apparently, he was a pretty good guard back in the day.
Oh, I mean, from the tales that I've heard him tell as he was hanging out here, yeah, he seemed to be okay at his job. Then he got all high and mighty and talking about how, the way the world works is kind of crap, if you will. I don't really know much of. I don't know. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me, but I mean, look at me. It's obviously I don't make a lot of sense out of things. That's why I live here. So I don't know. I've just kind of been here my whole life.
Well, what kind of stuff was he saying?
Oh, he was basically claiming about how, the city guards that he was working for was nothing but a bunch of bullies, saying that their entire job and their entire existence was just to, keep the people in line, even though that, it was solely up to them to something about, choosing their own path and say, I don't know. It seemed very like we're your own people and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, doesn't he know that there's just a way of things and we all just go with it? And I mean, I'm not fine with it, but I've accepted my place in life and this is where I am. So what's this? I mean, I don't know why he thinks that he can go and just change things with a bunch of fancy and pretty words.
Yeah. It takes a little bit more than words to change your situation.
Yeah, that's from my experience. That's what I've noticed. Probably why I haven't changed my situation.
I turn and I look at the rest of the group. Kind of matches up with what Connor was telling us, at least a little bit. Ain't that right?
So far.
Well, I only got one more question, then I'll let you guys get back to your game. You don't happen to know where we could find the man, do you?
Well, he's probably hanging out back at his house, honestly, right now, if I were to make a guess. Don't really. I mean, I think he's. And he thinks, he scratches his head for a moment, and he says he's probably like, if you go about 3 or 4 what you would assume to be blocks, there's not really blocks around here anymore. People just kind of build things as they please. Fire is a problem around here, just so you know. There's no codes. It just, when it goes, things go up. So we just have to keep rebuilding. Anyway,
Lots of flammable stuff.
Yeah. You know, when you're just able to put together your dwelling with whatever you can find, it's not always up to code. So yeah, he's probably about 4 blocks down the road on the left. That's the last I've seen him. I mean, he's honestly hard to miss. He's a big dude.
Raymond and I both rolled insight checks. Seem like he's telling the truth?
You can tell that he appears to be, especially you, Mordecai, that he's telling the truth. You know, nothing appears to be out of the ordinary. He seems to be one of those kind of guys that is kind of, you know, look upon the valley of all the F's I have left to give and see how it is fallow. he's got nothing left. So yeah, he don't care. He is very much, he'll tell you whatever he knows. And because, like you can probably imagine, he has been accosted and been told many times by, the local guards of, where can I find so-and-so criminal, like he was alluding to previously. And he just goes with it. And he says, yeah, 3 blocks down that way. And he just tells them where they're at.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I'll let you get back to your game. I'm gonna reach into my belt pouch and pull out a handful of coins. I don't know what they are. I mean, Mordecai has no sense of money or possession or anything. Just kind of drop them on the table for your time.
Well, shoot, thanks. I will upgrade my dwelling with this one. This is gonna be a fantastic Christmas. Appreciate it. And he pockets it. And the dude that was sitting there with him is like eyeing him, and he's like, you didn't say shit, dude. Like, I'm the one with the info. That's true. So there you go. You guys have information on the whereabouts of a supposed dude that is causing all sorts of trouble.
So I'll turn to the group. Do we want to go see if he's home?
I doubt he is, but we might as well.
Well, I mean, we can get there, see if he's home. If he isn't, we can formulate a plan from there.
We know where he's going to be in a week.
Sorry, I have one question. What gangs usually operate in this side of town?
This side of town, honestly, all of them. I can't keep track. And he jokingly and the other guy's like, yeah, it's all of them. Yeah, anything that you would imagine is criminal adjacent, slightly criminal, and even a little white collar crime from here and there every once in a while. You can find it down here.
What's the probability of running into trouble?
Sorry, what was that?
What's the probability of us running into one of these gangs on going to his house?
Right now, very low. Only because, like I said, the town is the little shanty town. You would imagine, based on just general knowledge of the town. You've been here probably the longest, and actually, Therian, you would know about this side of town too, since you used to kind of operate out of here. It's usually a lot more people, kind of milling about here, but due to like I said, the celebration going on, there's most people are taking advantage of all the kind of free food and drink. That's also why the guard presence is so high, because free drinks.
Okay.
All right. So where to next?
3 houses down on the left.
That would be the one. Technically 3 blocks down. 3 blocks down. But yeah, you follow it.
Going down there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, based off of your assumptions and everything that you were going off of, you were correct. When you knock on the door, or lack thereof a very impressive door, you get no response. There does not appear to be anyone home.
So either we wait here, or we assume he was in, what was that town to the north?
Wakefield. I wrote it down.
I know, but Mordecai doesn't remember names. He's terrible with them. So
Should we poke our head in and take a little look around?
Let's say knock louder or try to open the door.
Yeah.
I don't want to give up that easily. It's taken us like 16 guys to talk to get to here. So let's try to get our money's worth out of this before we go humping down to some other place.
That's a 9 to pick the lock.
There's a lock?
Yeah, as you go to attempt to pick the lock, you notice that it just kind of swung open. So yeah, there wasn't much of a lock.
It's magically open.
You're like, yeah, good job. It is definitely
Got myself on the back.
you turn the doorknob and the door opens.
Yeah. I mean, there seemed to be like maybe some small locking mechanism, but yeah, it is open. Open sesame. It is open.
We like take a look around, see if we can find any clues as to where he might be, or nothing so elaborate as like battle plans drawn on a wall, but like anything that might give us some direction, whether he'll be back, whether he's there and hiding.
Yeah. So
Something.
yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check as you first enter. See what you got going on here. You all stroll in. Nothing seems to be out of place. There you go.
Take that first roll. I don't know what that second one is.
Yeah, I don't know if that second one is either. But yeah, so Morgan, as you walk in, you kind of, your eyes kind of caught over to the left. You see a large stack of papers. Not like a whole bunch, but a sizable stack of papers, kind of like off on a small kind of, makeshift desk that he's got, in this small dwelling.
I'm gonna head over there and just kind of shuffle through them.
Okay.
See if anything catches my eye.
The only thing that really catches your eye is, and honestly, all of these are at least of interest to you, but you do see a correspondence with Connor. There is a letter that he originally wrote, and it was actually a reply that he received from Connor from the original letter that he sent, and the Connor basically told him that I understand what you're getting at, but if we're going to go along with the plan, I'll need to know more information. Please meet me here, and you can see based on the kind of date that it was about 3 weeks ago that he would have been there. So this letter adds up, and as you are shuffling through the letters, you can see, and you kind of are piecing through it, and shuffle, and eventually, after reading through all of them, and you can see based on one of the times you saw a very similar letter from someone else claiming, yes, what you say sounds good, but we'll need to talk to know more. And with that, he is supposed to be in, give me 1 second. So he is in the town, supposedly, according to this letter at least. You're able to track it down that he is in the town of Murstone. based on the timeline and everything that you're able to piece together with these letters. But the one thing I will also point out, there is no mention of what the plan, there is no mention of anything. It's just usually, we'd love to hear more, but we'll need to talk. It's almost like the equivalent of someone saying, these are the dates I'm available. Meet us here at this time. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna turn on to the group and be like, I don't know what you all found, but I think I know where he is right now, and show him the letter.
Okay. Perfect. Now, is there
Well,
anything?
perhaps we could go there.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to search about in the house, or you good?
I'll make an investigation check, see if there's anything in there.
Yeah. So with that investigation, you're kind of like looking, like, what are you looking for specifically? Is there anything that you're searching for?
Kind of along the lines of what Morgan was looking for. Maybe something hidden in the shack. If it takes me using prestidigitation to get rid of like the grime or whatever to clean it up, so I can easily find things, I'm going to be doing that as well.
Yeah. So with that investigation check of 16, you are looking around to see if there's anything hidden, and you do actually come across what appears to be a small trap door, kind of underneath the desk. Like, it looks like and basically what you're seeing is you see kind of the dirt and grime on the floor, and what you're seeing is where he has been constantly kind of moving the desk back and forth, and it's like there's these almost like little streaks of cleanliness where he's been moving the desk back and forth to cover up the trapdoor. So there you go. You see that and you can see a small little like a little hole in one of the boards that he uses as kind of like the handle to pick up.
I asked some of them to help me move the desk, and then we'll go see what's in the trapdoor.
Okay. So as you move the desk out of the way and you open up the trapdoor, the main thing that you see is several correspondence with some of the there's additional correspondence with some of the different locals from the rest of the town. You do see an old and very tattered looking, in fact, there's two of them, tattered looking and blood-stained tabards that he has tucked away in here. And there are two swords in there as well. So the main thing you see is two swords. If you do any investigation, you could tell that they're just mundane. If anything, they appear to be keepsakes for him, as well as the tabards. But the correspondence that you see is basically kind of laying out a little bit more of the plan of what has been going on. And as you're kind of able to piece it together, is that he has been traveling around and doing the best he can to shut down any town's operations that is tied into Lord Saxton. And his main goal is to get all, if not most, of the everyone to get involved and to basically bring his entire, cash flow to a complete halt is the main plan that he has got going on.
I'm gonna put it all in the bag of holding, and I'm gonna make a big sigh and basically relay that, and it's gonna get a lot of people killed by doing this the wrong way.
It sounds like he blames Lord Saxton for killing his brother.
Mm-hmm.
When you said put it all, you didn't take the tabards and swords, right?
Oh, I took them too.
I wouldn't take those.
I would suggest leaving those.
Okay, fine. I will put those back.
That might be for the best, especially if we decide we eventually like this guy. That's probably good.
But what if we need him?
Oh, well, we know where they are if we need them.
I will take the correspondence, though.
Yep. Okay. All right. So you have gathered some information from what he appears to be up to. seems to be a pretty, as you are, have kind of put together, not necessarily a super well thought out plan, but a plan nonetheless. And yeah, that seems to be what he's going with. And the other information that you were able to figure out based off of what Morgan was able to find on the more mundane correspondence, which didn't actually contain any of that information, was that he is most likely meeting with someone in the town of Murstone.
Well, it sounds like we should head in that direction if we want to talk to this guy.
So if we were to put together where Brandt is to Murstone,
Sure.
would we figure out paths that were...
Yeah, so Murstone is kind of like completely due north. If you were to think of the main point where Inaron is, Brandt was about roughly 30 miles just due west. And then the town that was mentioned, Wakefield, where the kind of like where a lot of the forges and things like that happen, that was kind of like northwest from there. So Murstone is pretty much about 45 miles due north from the city.
So
Do y'all still have your horses?
I have Java.
Yes.
I will never lose Java.
Yeah, you definitely still have your horses.
So what do you say? Do we head toward what's this Murstone?
Murstone.
It's getting pretty late. I don't know if we want to travel tonight.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, no.
We definitely want to get off the streets before it gets dark, though.
I tend to not like flying in the dark.
While I'm thinking about it, I cast prestidigitation and clean the wall except for it writes meet us in Murstone, assuming he comes back.
Okay, makes sense. All right. So, let me see here. So you are, let me just make sure I got everything. You are going to be resting for the evening. So you're not going to be traveling by night. You're going to be traveling most likely first thing in the morning, roughly 40-ish miles to the north by way of horseback. So you should probably be able to get there if you leave. I would say you can get there in one day by horse. It would take you 2 days by foot. Yeah, you'd have to really push it to get there in one day. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think you can go about 35 miles roughly by horseback if I were to make a guess. But yeah, you could get there if you continued the last 5 miles or so, and you would arrive at night.
So it might be a 2-day trip.
2-day or just a 1 day, and then the last 5 miles by evening
In the dark.
Yeah.
Leave early.
Yeah, definitely early.
Okay. So, as you take a nice relaxing evening at the whatever local tavern that you were staying at. I'm sure you have a couple more drinks before you make your way to head to bed, and then you make your way north to the town of Murstone, all in the search for a man named Val that you don't know much about, other than apparently he lost 2 brothers and became a jerk, according to his boss, Ralph. Understand.
And is trying to overthrow the authority of Inaron.
Well, there's that.
Is there any different names on the correspondence from Murstone?
Yes. So he appears to be meeting with someone by the name of Frank.
Not Felix.
Nope. No Felix.
Okay. Any identification like where he's meeting Frank at?
It just mentioned that he would be meeting him at his house. Yeah. So wherever this particular person lives, that is where they're going to be, where they will be meeting.
Looks like we're going to be looking for people again.
All right. Well, I'm assuming, let's just kind of quickly play through this. So you are traveling. You would make it there. I'm going to go ahead and say if you did decide to push it, those like roughly last 5 miles or so late into the evening, you do manage to make it there without any incidents or being attacked by any kind of, roving bands or anything like that. You've noticed that at least in this, when you're this close to the city, no one has been, there's no real kind of issues with traveling. And when you actually get there, it is like, if, being it later in the evening, you left kind of early, you probably would have arrived maybe 7-ish p.m. It is definitely dark, but you see that there is a little bit of a lively scene going on right now. Not too much. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary here. And it actually is a larger town than you were last time. Here, I'll even show you what the town kind of looks like. Here you go. You do boop 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 boop, and there you go. You find yourself rolling up in these city streets. Kind of a larger town, but still nothing compared to Enuron. Like it's the probably the difference between rolling into just one of those kind of middle tier towns that are, you would still consider it a town, but not quite city. But it's got some nice cobblestone path streets. Seems to be a nice town, but other than that, you don't really know much about what else is going on in here. So, anything you would like to do as you arrive in this town?
Always tavern.
All right. Sounds good. So there is a local tavern. As a matter of fact, it's the one that you're kind of staring at right across the street. So you head on in there and, a couple people look up as you enter into the tavern, but no one seems to be thinking anything out of the ordinary. So yeah, there you go. You are in a tavern. So here, we'll throw you back in the tavern since you're in the tavern. You're back to the tavern. All right, yeah. Back to the tavern. Boom. That guy's not there anymore. Bye, Connor. You're not here anymore. Goodbye. All right. So, as you look around, there are several patrons just kind of hanging out, relaxing, enjoying the evening. Now that it is, quitting time. It's definitely later in the evening, but and I'm imagining you're probably pretty tired and a little sore from about a 40-mile journey.
Do we know what Murstone produces?
Murstone? No, you actually do not know much about the town. The only thing that you caught wind of was that this is where Val was supposed to be meeting. You don't really know much about the town. But you can see if you remember what the town is up to. If you give me a history check, if you really want to know. You may have heard something.
I'm gonna say to them, I got an idea, but I'm gonna go run a room real quick.
Okay. All right, Raymond, you're off talking to kind of like the barkeep. You get all the rooms in order and whatnot. And with that history check, you do remember, in your travels that you've heard that Murstone is a slightly wealthier town, not like super down on its luck. It's not built up around any kind of like one industry. Not like it seems like a lot of the other towns are kind of built to to kind of do. This one is much more of like a well-rounded town. It's got a little bit of a more vibrant livelihood and things like that. The main thing that you know about the town that you remember is it is well known for its jewel crafting. So that is the only thing that is kind of stood out in from that you've heard, and that's probably one of the reasons it's a little bit wealthier of a town, is that it's got that kind of a whatever profession that seems to be rampant in this area. And the other thing that you do know is that it's being so not super far north, but it is actually a little bit closer to the borders of the Midlands, and it's kind of like where the Midlands and the northern nation of, if I remember it off the top of my head, which I totally don't. I have it written down, I swear. I just have to find it. But yeah, anyway, it kind of is near the border of both the Midlands and northern nation. There you go.
Okay. Cool. So I share that information with the people that are around the table, that I remembered these things, and that since this town does deal with jewelry, it's possible that Frank might have something to do with jewelry trading or things like that that help raise money for Iteron and Saxon.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, if you're going to interrupt trade, you're going to want to interrupt all the trade.
Yep. Okay. You. Yeah, there we go. The northern nation, by the way, is Borhog is the name of it. Curious. There you go. That is where it is nearby. All right. So, is there anyone that you wanted to speak to, or anything that you wanted to do?
I'm going to go get some hot water from the bar, explaining that I need some hot water to go with the coffee that I'm going to brew, and ask if there's a person that visits here. I think that he has that he deals in the jewelry trade, named Frank.
Yeah. So you're talking to one of the barkeeps, and they say, "Yeah, I know Frank. What are you looking for? Just looking to talk to him?"
Yeah, just to chat possibly about trade and potentially buy some jewelry, because I mean, I like jewelry, but something like that. But I definitely need the hot water.
Yeah. Okay. So the barkeep goes and grabs the hot water, and when he comes back, he's like, "Yeah. In fact, he's actually got a shop not too far from here. If you wanted to stop in, probably closed for the evening, but yeah, just a couple doors down from here is where you would find his jewelry store."
Awesome. Thank you so very much.
Yeah. No problem.
And what do I owe you for the hot water?
1 copper.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
And I go back to the table to brew my coffee and tell them about Frank's jewelry shop.
Awesome. All right. Anything else that you would like to do?
I'll rent the room, and then I'll go up into it, and then I'm gonna actually take Connor's appearance, since maybe Val will be more likely to come after Connor, since he's not in a place he should.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
So I'll enter back down into the bar as Connor and kind of give the sly eye to the group.
Okay. I can only imagine they will eventually get used to you changing your appearance, but they're probably still not used to it. They're like, "I thought we just left that guy like 70 miles that way."
Mordecai is seeing some weird shit on the plane of air. It doesn't bother him that much.
Got it. All right. Well,
Do you get the cool headband too?
No, I didn't. I don't actually have a headband that make that work.
Oh, that's sad.
I don't actually get his clothes. I have to have change clothes and do stuff.
yeah.
But was he bigger than you? So you just adjust?
The
Well, what
headband
kind of
really
second-rate
ties
knockoff
everything.
changeling are you if you can't change your clothes?
That's what's called a doppelganger, and I'm not one of those.
Oh. All right. Well, is there anywhere where you wanted to go? And if you give me one moment, I will allow you to all formulate what your plan is as I take a break. I'll be right back.
Now we can talk his headsets off.
That's true.
So I imagine we just rest, clean up, and go to Frank's in the morning.
Probably.
If Frank happened to if Frank did stop in, he'd probably beeline to Raymond. Well, not Frank, excuse me, Val. Val would
Yeah.
beeline.
See, that's the whole reason I'm doing this. That way, at least Val will come to us instead of us hunting for him. Let's just hope that Connor hasn't been stirring up shit.
Seemed that he was just locked away in the mine, so
Yeah.
probably fine there. Doesn't seem like he traveled that much. In fact, this is like not even this direction he heads when he goes to sell the iron. I mean, slightly, but not really. If he even handles that part of it. Yeah, but I think other than trying to catch up with Frank, I don't know that we have anything else for this city that, as of yet.
Well, we were coming up here to hope that talking with Frank will actually connect us with Val, because we still need to talk to him about what he's trying to do.
Well, sure. And then we know where Val will be in a week, or at this point, another 6 days.
And that's how we fucked Jen over. So I wouldn't really, say, oh shit, he's back.
I don't think there was enough fire. We need more.
More fire is always good.
Yeah, more fire. All right. So, what is the plan of attack?
Well, we were going to clean up, sleep, and then in the morning, we were all going to go to Frank's shop with Raymond in the guise of Connor and play it by ear, I guess.
That's it.
That was good. Just like about everything else we've done so far. Perfect. All right. So, go ahead and, hang out, get a room, enjoy the evening, and then in the morning, when you head over to the shop, assuming all of you enter, one of you enter, let's see.
No, we're bumble rushing this place. Let's get in there.
All right. All 5 of you bumble rush your way into the shop, and you see an older gentleman. Kind of, he looks up from what he's working on at the time, and he's like, "Oh, what can I help you with? Welcome to Frank's Emporium of Fine Jewelry. It's we got all sorts of trinkets and baubles and what's nots, and to your heart's desire. How can I help you?"
Go get him, Mordecai.
Well, I'm direct and to the point, as usual. I walk up, I lean on the counter, and I say, "So, we recently got information that you've been in contact with a man by the name of Val, and we're hoping to get in contact with him too."
Val, you say? Oh, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. You're Val? What did you want from him exactly? I don't think I've ever met anyone by the name of Val.
I look at Raymond and say, "You still have that letter, right?"
Hi, Frank. I'm Connor. And I go to shake his hand.
He kind of slightly hesitantly, but then, does shake your hand.
Connor here is also working with Val. We just have some questions for him.
I cast Charm Person and say, hey, friend.
All right. Let me see. No, he failed. So he is now quite friendly to you.
Hey, Frank. So where can I find Val?
Oh, well, I just met with him last night. Is there something that you were looking for exactly?
Well, there's been some things happening on my end over there, and I need to actually talk to him.
Well, he's still in town, if I understand. He said he was going to be staying the night. Perhaps you could check one of the local taverns.
You know which one he might frequent? I don't come out this way very often.
So he is probably in one of the probably not the same one that you were staying at, but one of the smaller taverns. He tries to stay off the beaten path, basically. One of the more seedier ones that he describes as, it's like, yeah, it's the Blue Parrot.
Well, thank you much, Frank. I'm hoping we work together a little bit more nowadays.
Yeah, it's always good to see you.
I pat him on the shoulder, and I guess we're going to the Blue Parrot.
All right. Well, since Frank was quite so friendly and, really sucks at wisdom saving throws. Rolled a 4, by the way. Yeah, he's like, oh man, he's such a friendly fellow. Yeah, you're able to make your way to what you consider to be the Blue Parrot Inn, or the Blue Parrot Tavern, whatever. And yeah, as you walk in, when you know it, you see a man with a large scar on his forehead, sitting there, actually enjoying what you would imagine just to be a very pretty standard breakfast.
Well,
Wow.
I will go order and see if the barkeep has any food that's already done. And if he does, I'll grab some and I'll sit right across from him with it.
Okay. Yeah. So whenever you walk up there, you notice that the only things that you can order are breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That's it. So I'm assuming you would order breakfast, and he quickly just dishes it up because they just have a large stock of whatever the heck that they were making at the time. Kind of like my cousin Vinny, right? And there you go. And yeah, you are now seated across from him. If you
I'm also going to go after Raymond orders his breakfast. I'll order a breakfast of my own and then take a seat some distance away from the two of them.
Perfect.
I'll go sit
Within
with
listening distance, but some distance away.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I would like some hot water and then sit down with them.
perfect. Hot water is available. Yep. They use it to make their grits. Like in my cousin Vinny. Perfect. And Morgan, what are you up to?
I'm probably actually going to sit next to Beans and see if I can get some coffee.
Yeah, it's pretty early.
Always.
Thank you, friend.
All right. So there you go. There is a large man that appears to be, he's got a very large cloak kind of draped over his shoulders. You could probably tell that if you look at him long enough, but not too long to make him suspicious, I suppose, if that's what you're going for. You can probably tell he does have a weapon or two underneath the cloak. Just the way that the cloak is kind of falling on him. And you could probably tell that, he's definitely seen a battle a time or two. Go. So, what would you like to do with good old Val sitting right across the table there, the bar, really?
I'll let him make the first word as I start digging into whatever this breakfast is.
Yeah, it's pretty standard and kind of lame. There's like baked beans, a couple pieces of sausage, and some grits. All right. So you were just listening in to what he was doing? Is that basically what you were doing, or?
No, I go and sit like right across from him.
Okay. Yeah, you're right across from him, and he kind of looks up. He stares at you, and then he kind of does a double take, and he's like, "Connor, the hell are you doing here?"
Looking for you.
All right. I was gonna see you in just about 3-4 days here. Like, you in a rush to chat? What's happening?
Well, there's been some developments.
Well, like what?
And I turn into my changeling form and look at him with my cold black eyes, like me.
Okay. He freaks out a little bit, and he's like, "What? I'm not sure I understand.
And miss
Did
correspondence.
Did you kill Connor?"
No.
Okay.
But I might have found a way so he doesn't die, and along with that town.
Okay. So, what do you mean? You're looking to help? Is that what you're saying?
If help means making sure towns don't get slaughtered because you're making poor decisions, then that's one thing.
Well, I'm curious to hear what your ideas are. Have you ever overthrown a government there, sir? I'm not sure I have ever met you, or probably anyone has met you in this form, at least.
No, not very many people. But it's important that you actually, I don't know, take a little thought about the people who live in these towns too.
Oh yeah, I definitely have. They all went along willingly. I've not forced any hand. I've received a lot of no's too, so I'm still trying to formulate what to do about that, but there have been plenty of people that have turned my offer down, so this is not something that I'm just going in and trying to recruit people without their knowledge of what could happen.
Okay, and what is this? Some just play for vengeance or what?
Well, kind of looks at you and he says, "How much do you know about me exactly?" Because, I mean, yeah, I guess it started that way.
I mean, it kind of looks like it's a little bit more than that, considering I found 2 bloody taverns and 2 swords in your home.
He kind of grows quiet for a moment, and he kind of just glares at you.
They're
Yeah.
still there.
He's like, "That's good. I appreciate that." He kind of,
I figured I'd make a better statement in front of you if I had them for you, but that didn't happen.
well, just the fact that you know they exist is not many people do. I'll put it that way. So, what exactly is your name, or do you even have one? Because I've met a changeling a time or two, and most of them didn't even have names that they were willing to divulge. They just went by whoever they decided to take on the appearance of. So, you have a default, I suppose?
No, see, it's great the lesson I learned from my father. Great man. Got me into worshiping my deity I did. But, there's a lot of power in a name, and that's why you don't give them out freely. But you can call me Raymond.
Well, Raymond, what? You don't seem like the kind of person that is interested in bringing me to, face justice by Lord Saxton. You don't seem to be anyone. I don't know. I get a feeling about you that you're all right. I'll put it that way. So,
Well, let's just put it this way: I've been tasked to take taxes from your side of town, but yet I doubt you've ever paid taxes in your life, have you?
no, I have not.
That's because I'm getting it from the Royals.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a nice way to, I don't know, stick it to the man, I guess.
Hungry people tend to fight a little bit harder, but
That's true. So, Raymond. I'll call you Raymond. So, what do you have in mind to perhaps lessen the threat, if you will, that people will be facing soon? Actually, I know that there's not much time left before, bloodshed starts happening.
if you don't mind, my friends are going to sit next to me. They're not going to raise weapons or anything.
And he kind of looks around and he's like, "Oh, certainly. You seem to know more about me than I thought anyone did, but then again, I've never been the greatest person at hiding my identity, so well, there you go. I guess you found me. Hi."
I'll get up, grab my plate, walk over, plop down right next to him.
Okay.
Howdy, I'm Mordecai.
Hi, Val, but you probably already knew that.
Yes, sir.
He kind of like rubs his forehead and he's like, yeah, I do kind of stand out, I suppose. But that's the cost of doing business as I've done for so many years.
Oh,
Well, you're actually a lot harder to find. You got to give yourself credit.
Well, I do move around a lot, so there is that.
So let me add a little bit more information here. We were tasked with going to help me out here. What's the name of that town with the mine?
Brandt.
Brandt. Thank you. We were tasked with going to Brandt and finding out why the iron shipments had stopped. We ended up finding out exactly why, but we helped Connor. We helped Connor figure out how to disguise it a lot better.
So, okay, I understand now how your friend over here looks like Connor. He is all right? Like when I visit him and
Oh yeah,
he's fine. We had every opportunity to take him out, and we chose to help the town versus give Saxon more money. Sorry,
Well,
if you don't mind.
he's not hiding out in that mine anymore. He can go home.
Yeah.
got it. All right. So, I mean, so you spoke to Connor. I gathered that. And then you just found out where I lived. You broke in. Thanks for leaving my keepsakes, I suppose, behind. Appreciate that. And then I'm assuming, based on the information you found in my home, you figured out I was here. Did I piece it all together? That okay?
Roughly.
Basically.
Roughly.
Well, I need
You want some coffee?
I'd love a cup of coffee. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
Well, first off, I'd like to offer my condolences for your brothers. It was sad to hear what happened to them.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a sad tale, I'll admit.
And second, I think we want to help you out.
All right, well, if you'd like to help, kind of like looks around and he's like, well, I'm not really sure how you could help just off the top of my head. You're clearly capable. You can figure some stuff out, where you knew that I was going to be here. So, honestly,
Well, we could.
Yeah, go. I'm still piecing this together. What were you gonna say?
I said, well, I can help you by, and Raymond will change into like an elderly woman with like white hair, like making sure you're not a dumbass and getting people killed.
Well, I suppose I'd appreciate that. Any help there would be useful. What is what are you looking to do? I mean, I've got a decent amount of, ducks in the row, if they were, and I'm just trying to shore up the last few things. So I suppose I could have you do a couple of these errands where you were just talking to a few people in some of the surrounding towns, but that feels below your pay grade. I think.
Do we look like errand boys to you?
No, that's why I wasn't going to ask you to do that. It's bad enough that I have to do this, but, it's kind of my, lot in life, I suppose, to try and figure out how to get this all sorted.
Do you
And
work
the
for
fact that
somebody
you
else?
found me scares me a little bit. Like, this whole thing might be falling apart faster than I thought it would.
Do you have somebody who you're working for, or is it just all you?
No, it is not all me. And he looks you over and he goes, you look like someone who probably knows a few people in town back in Iran. Is that, that'd be correct? You're the kind of person that can talk to people and they don't even necessarily know they're talking to you. Talking to their second cousin twice removed, and they're like, oh, hey, Jimmy John, how you been? What you been up to? And don't even know that they're actually giving all that information to you. Would I be accurate in that description?
There's a little bit of a caveat with that, as long as I know who they are.
Sure. You visit Jimmy John's old store, have a little conversation with him, and then you take old Jimmy John's little, guys and go say hello to Billy Bob What's Not. And then you get whatever information you want from him. Would you? Am I tracking? This seems about accurate. What you, this man of your talents, can do.
That's what I've been hired for.
Well, and he kind of looks at you just a little bit longer. He says, "You wouldn't happen to be one of them bards, would you?"
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll take that as a yes. So, now, if you happen to be, and he kind of scratches his head a little bit, he's like, that would, and, I've gotten a lot of information over my time. I feel like you may or may not know who a certain Jonathan Graves is. Is that correct?
He may or may not have 2 broken legs right now, but yeah.
Okay. Well, if you didn't know, which you probably do, but for everyone else, I will explain. Jonathan Graves is a arrogant asshole, and very few people actually like him, but he also happens to be the ambassador to the Bardic League for Lord Saxton. And he works for someone by the name of Melody Rains. And that, who I would like you to contact. Now, I would say, Raymond, the name Melody Rains actually rings a bell with you. Heard this before. You know that she is actually Lord Saxton's, like, one of the main, like, if you were to imagine that if Lord Saxton had a cabinet, she is actually on it. So you think it like Game of Thrones. She is effectively Littlefinger on that. Or actually, she would be Vero. She is the mistress of whispers. And that is who he would like you to speak to. Then he explains, well, a lot of people think that she is, a lady of high birth, is wealthy and totally fine with the status quo of things, but wouldn't you know it? She's on our side. So I'd like you to have a conversation with her and she can tell you what to do next.
It's a big ask.
Well, and then he actually pulls out a small kind of copper looking coin, and he slides it across the table, and he says, all you got to do is meet with any of your contacts that you may have in town and show them this, and they'll know that you've basically been requested to speak to Melody. So that is what I would ask you to do, is see her and see if she can help clean up the mess that I may have made.
All right, I'll take the coin.
Okay. There you go. You now have the next quest on the list of things to do. And actually, that is where we will end it today because we are running a little over time. But yeah, you now know that apparently one of Lord Saxton's cabinet members works for this little revolutionary group that you are slowly finding out more about.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I had to make sure I pulled up the list of key characters. Then I was like, what's her name again? I was like, I know I gave her a name long ago.
That's all right. Betty White's on the job.
All right. Betty White is on the job. Perfect.
Sweet.
Well, once again, thank you very much, everybody who came out to, check us out, watch. Very much appreciate it. And with that, I will say thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thank everybody.
Bye.
Folks.